So we've been rolling for a couple minutes.
Ooh.
This is my guest, Bailey. She owns this wonderful shop in downtown Red Bluff. It's called Pretty in Pink. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and how you came to own a business at such a young age?
Yeah. Honestly, I totally thought growing up that I would be a teacher. Like my whole life, I always was like,
Really?
oh, I'm going to be a teacher. I love children, which I still love children. But when we moved back from Kansas, I was like, okay, I'm going to start pursuing that and be like a teacher and stuff like that. So that was like in 2020 is when we moved back. And around that time, I was able to get hired on at an elementary school as a paraprofessional.
Okay.
And it's like pretty much a teacher's aide, like a fancy
Right.
teacher's aide. But
I never heard that term.
paraprofessional.
Yeah.
It's so nice, paraprofessional. It makes me seem like I'm important, but really I'm not. But it's like the first steps of like getting my toes into the water because like they would pay for school if you like
Really?
continued. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. So it is a stepping, like
yeah,
there
in the
is a path.
direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I totally went in. It was during COVID. And
Mhm.
I literally went in, dropped up my application, and she was like, oh, you're hired. No, like no interview, nothing. It was just kind of like, okay,
You
can
want a job?
Yeah.
You want to work
And I
during
was like,
this?
okay. No, I had no idea what I was in for.
Wow.
So I got hired on as a paraprofessional. I didn't read the fine print. I was a paraprofessional for special education children, which is way different than just being a teacher's aide. It's a lot of
Surprised
like
that doesn't take a little extra training.
you wouldn't think so, but it was
Yeah.
COVID, so they were going through a lot
Anybody.
of hoops.
Yeah.
Hopefully, don't sue me. Like dropping all the secrets.
Yeah.
But because of that, they didn't provide me like training or anything. I'm like, at that time, I'm 20 years old, going in not knowing what
right
I'm
out. Yeah.
doing.
Yep.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna love this so much. It's gonna be such a great job. And yeah, it was not. It was very hard. I was like, we had ages pre-K through third grade.
Yeah.
And a lot of the school system was just like throwing kids into this classroom with not enough support or not enough people. A lot of kids that needed one-on-ones. So we were like changing diapers on fourth graders that were in regular classrooms, but were coming into our class and we would have to change a diaper on like a fourth grader. Like it's insane.
What?
Yeah.
Wait,
in the school
isn't
system.
that supposed to be
Yeah.
if
Like
you? I didn't even think you go to preschool if you couldn't
That's
be
what I thought
potty.
too,
I thought you
but
had to be potty trained.
I guess if like, I don't know if you can maneuver the
but
school
I guess
system.
so if it's special needs, that kind of.
But they weren't special needs children.
Oh, whoa.
No, these were regular kids. That's where I was like, this is not my job description. Like for one, I was getting beat up like every single day because
What?
I
Oh,
was.
'cause-
They hit you, they bite you because they're special needs children,
Yeah.
you know, and the higher ups
Wow.
didn't really care to like provide enough support. So that kind of traumatized
So
me.
first of all, you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
On top of that, they can be aggressive.
Yes, very aggressive.
They don't have the ability to comprehend things.
Yeah. Oh my God. And
They
they run. They just take off running
Oh.
and you just have to chase them down. And the school that I worked for is on a very busy street.
What
and-
school?
Oh.
If you don't have to say, no, you don't have to
I'm like,
say. You can give me a little directions. I know the area.
Maybe on Jackson Street.
Okay. Yeah.
If you can break
Okay.
that down.
Yep.
But yeah, one kid took off running, and this is just on the playground. Took off running. Of course, it's the day I decided to dress up and wear my cute clogs. And this kid takes off running, hits the main road. I'm running with my clogs on, and I'm just like, okay, like, screw this. I take off my clogs, throw them into the street,
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
running after this kid barefooted. This kid is cracking up laughing the whole time. Just, like, having the time of his life, you know? And I'm over here like, oh, my God. Like,
Dying.
I'm going to
Yeah.
get fired. But it's not my fault. I wasn't even his one-on-one for the day. I don't even know where his one-on-one was.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I got him. And that's when I just finally was like, what the heck? Like, this is crazy. So yeah, I feel like that kind of put like a bad taste in my mouth about teaching because I saw how the school systems worked
Yeah.
at that time because beforehand I had never worked in a
And
school.
it's kind of like a go into it with an ideology of
Yeah.
what it should be and the help you can
Exactly.
give.
And these poor teachers, they were not supported at all. Like,
Right.
I was just an aide. Like, I can't even
Mhm.
imagine being a teacher and not being supported. You
I know a
know?
lot of teachers that would have to supply their own school supplies,
Yeah.
like for the students and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
on
that's
a teacher's salary.
I kind of like after I did that for 2 years. So I went through 2 like school periods of doing that, like year terms, and I finally was like, okay, what have I loved my whole entire life?
Right.
And so like I sat down with my husband and I was like, so I have this idea because during the summertime they usually take out a certain portion of your check so you get paid during the summer
Oh wow.
with the school system.
No
So you
shit.
earned the money, but they're just giving it
Giving
to
it
you
as a
at
paid time off type of deal.
Exactly. So
That way
you
you're
have
not.
like,
if you're irresponsible, you still have an ability.
exactly. They set you up for success in that way, I guess. But
that's kind of cool. I always thought it was up to the. I didn't know they did that. I
Yeah.
thought it was up to you guys
I
to
think
just.
you can choose to not do
Right.
it, but I was
That's a
like,
bad idea.
you just take it. So, in 2022, that June, I finished my last school term, and I told Mateo, I was like, so I have this idea. What do you think? And that's where Pretty in Pink started. I just kind of was like, okay, I am not loving life where I'm at. How am I going to change it? I don't want to just go work
and you
for
did
somebody
this
else.
during the pandemic.
Yeah, so this was coming out of the pandemic.
So okay, 21, 22.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is
So
coming
you
out.
spent a little bit of time at that school.
Yeah, I was there
Yeah.
for a while. Honestly, what made me stay was all the people I worked with. They were amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
I had some great teachers that I worked with. So I like they were like, if you leave, then we have
Oh,
nobody. And I
no.
was like, oh, you're so right. Like I have
Yep.
to stay. So yeah, Pretty in Pink came up because I hated my life, like job wise, and I didn't want to just go work at Red Bluff is so tiny. There's not much as a female. There's not a lot of job options unless you
yeah.
want to be at a fast food joint. You want to be a waitress, a hostess, or a barista.
And right now, there's not
There's
jobs for
not-
anybody
Yeah,
here.
there's not a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot of like construction and labor and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And so I told Mateo, I was like, I don't want to do any of that. Like, what am I gonna do?
But you want to stay here,
Yeah, because all of our family's in Red Bluff.
Right.
So,
I'm in that. I know that dilemma
yeah.
very well.
Oh, it's so hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I for a while I knew that I wasn't gonna stay at the school. Like for the last year, I knew like, okay, this is my last year. I'm gonna put in, and then from there, I'm gonna figure it out. So that June, I figured it out, and Mateo supported me fully. I don't know why, but he did.
Good.
And so
That's a good husband
yeah,
right
he's
there.
amazing. So I started online. Literally.
So you got online?
Well, okay. I started with online,
Okay.
and then
Like e-commerce?
like I had my own website,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, it was really cool. My friend Riley, she owns the bookstore over here at Turn the Page
Okay.
on Main Street. And so I came with her to go get coffee, and I was like, so I have this crazy idea. And she was like, oh my God, do it.
That's
and
awesome.
her family actually invested like $100 into me
Oh, no.
for my first
That's
startup.
awesome.
So that was super cool. Yeah, and that day Riley created a website with me.
In a day?
Yeah, she
Oh,
created
wow.
a website with me, an Instagram, got me like showed me how to order things wholesale, created a wholesale account with me.
No
Like
way.
she was literally an angel. I could not have done it without her because starting a business is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Getting the certain permits and stuff like
Yep.
that. It's a lot more work than people think. You can't just like start selling stuff. That's illegal.
Yep.
So yeah, Riley helped me out a ton, and I started off with that $100. I can't remember if it was $100 or like $200 they gave me, but by them investing into me, I was able to go online and purchase like little hoop earrings and stickers and little cute
Yeah.
goodie bags, and I started selling goodie bags
Oh.
just to like start profit. So I, starting out, invested zero money into my business.
Wow.
I
So it came off of a 200.
Yeah,
$200
that somebody
belief
just
in you.
like blessed me with, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we believe in you. Here's this $200."
That's
So I
incredible.
invested that, and that's
I bet that really gave you the confidence to pursue
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
And
if
I
it was your
knew-
own money, you'd still be like, I can do this. But
Yeah.
but when you had someone, not even family,
I
some
know, and it was
third
such a big deal.
party.
It was her dad that like handed it to me,
Yeah.
and like I just was like, "Oh my gosh,
That
like
is
really?"
cool.
And he was just like, "Take it."
That is
like,
so cool.
Just very like, yeah, here.
Yeah.
So yeah, my startup was literally just that, and I have such a huge family. My family is gigantic. So yeah, I posted online and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm starting a boutique," and
That's cool.
I didn't know what that meant. I was like, I'm just gonna be selling stuff that I think is cute. But starting out, it
This
wasn't.
store is
Oh,
amazing.
this is love.
This store is incredible.
Thank you.
And it's so diverse. Like you have a whole shelf of special glass mugs, beer mug,
Yeah.
kind of like with all and then paint, like artwork. You've got the
It's
clothing store. When
amazing
you
that I
think,
get to like support other small businesses
Yeah.
in here because a lot of the stuff in here that people love are other small businesses.
I should shout that out. It's Leaves and Lattes.
Leaves and
glass.
lattes.
Yeah.
My
Follow
Heidi
it.
girl, we actually became besties and we got matching tattoos.
No way.
Yeah, we met
Is
doing
that-
a
what is
farmer's
that?
market. So it's half a son,
Okay.
and then she has the other half of my
No
son.
way. You know what I was thinking? I was like, that looks like a slinky. I was like, it's
Literally,
not a
though,
rainbow. It's
if
not
I
a rainbow.
could just,
It kind of does, right?
maybe we'll just get crazy one day and turn it into a slinky. I'm like, listen, Dylan said.
Yeah. Well, it's like rainbow. And then I was like, wait a minute. There's dots and lines.
Yeah, there's a little more intricate. We did a farmer's market and it was $10 tattoos.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so I actually got ink poisoning though.
Whoa,
And I was
what?
throwing up for like
Is it
2
your
days
only
afterwards. No, I have giant
Never
giant
had
one
the
right
ink
here.
poisoning.
I have a small one right here, small one right here. But yeah,
Ink poisoning.
I wouldn't recommend $10 tattoos.
Wow.
I don't think. I mean,
Right.
do what you must.
I don't have the ability to be that spontaneous over permanent things.
I probably shouldn't have because the one on I got this one was $10. Ooh, she is not cute.
My wife has a 10, I don't know. It was like one of those, like,
The
let's get a
BOGO,
tattoo today. And she's got avocado on her
She got
bicep.
an avocado.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's this big and it's just
Oh,
by
it
itself.
reminds me of like it's an avocado. Thanks. That's so
Yeah,
fun.
It's funny.
Yeah. Okay. But startup. Yeah. So then from there, my family. Sorry, I always go off on different things.
Oh,
But
it's
my
all good. That's
family
what it's
totally
about.
supported me. My friends from like high school that were following me supported me, and then I started ordering clothing online through wholesale
Right.
and learning everything of what I should do.
Making
and
mistakes, doing it all.
yeah,
Yeah.
But the whole time, I never invested any of my own money.
That's
So all of
incredible.
the
So just the profit kept start paying
exactly.
for itself.
And I was like, what the heck? And it was like an order like once a week. But I was like, oh my gosh.
Once a week, that's consistent.
Yeah, it was consistent.
Yeah.
But farmers market, that is
Oh.
what literally kicked me off. Like, so I quit working at the school June of 2022, instantly started doing farmers markets June of 2022. And I wasn't scared about money because I had that paycheck that was coming
Right.
in.
Oh, in the
Yeah.
summer. So you
I
have
was like,
this.
whatever.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so that whole 3 months, so June to August, I worked and did farmers markets in Red Bluff, in Chico, in Lake California, in Anderson, in Redding, everywhere possible.
There's a lot.
there's a
I
lot.
used to do the tour with Julia Fruit Stand.
Oh yeah, Julia,
Yep.
she's
Yep.
they're there every
Yep.
single time.
Yep. All
Every
the way
time.
up to Dunsmuir. Have you been to
Oh
that
wow,
one?
no, I haven't been to
Go.
Dunsmuir.
It's so cute, and it's just
I love
everyone
that.
knows everybody, and then
That's how it feels with the Red Bluff one. Everyone
Yep.
connects really well. The Chico one was definitely my best market because of how big it was.
right, and
But-
the age.
Yeah.
You have the right.
The college girls.
Yep.
And I kept
Demographic,
doing
the right demographic.
I kept doing like every time somebody would come up and be like, "Oh, if you follow me on Instagram, I'll follow you back." And then like you get a free sticker type thing.
okay.
So that grew my platform a ton. And I still am not at like a crazy amount of followers, but starting at 0,
Yeah.
I was literally
Trust
just
me,
new
I
to
know.
the game. So I was like, anybody that wants to follow me. But
I just had to take my. So I created my. I refused to get on TikTok, and so
stop it. That's literally, I'm so bad. I'll
know,
be
so-
making TikToks right here in the window. And yesterday I made it. They're always cringy. I know they're cringy,
Yeah, they
but
are.
it's what
they want
it's what people want. And this
my videos.
old man.
I don't even understand.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like,
It's so.
I'll show my wife. She's like, I'm like, I don't even like it, but these people do.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't
exactly.
understand. I have to research because it's like.
I
not,
had one
yeah.
video pop off on TikTok and I got 12.5K followers.
Whoa.
From one video. Just like exploding.
way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I did start one. So I brought that up to say I did finally, when I reset this, when I reset in December, I started one. and I had a good amount of content and stuff, not followers on Instagram, but it was my personal page, so I
Yeah.
have to restart that.
I know, and that's
And
like
then,
the
So I
weird
wasted
position.
all this content
I
on this page
know,
that
but it's hard because like people don't know that this is your business,
Yeah.
you know, or your podcast or
Yeah.
your YouTube channel. So like you're like, oh well, I'll just post it on my regular, so then people
Yeah,
know.
and I was half
then-
serious, you know, and I was like not fully commit. Yeah, I
Yeah,
hadn't committed I had to fully commit, and that's kind of like you had the opportunity to fully commit while still getting that back
yeah,
end.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
my husband at the time was doing landscaping. So he would be off by a certain time because it's like literally 110 degrees here.
Yeah.
And it's like horrible for them to
Miserable.
work that. So they
Yep.
start super, super early.
Yep.
And then they end more in the afternoon.
Yep, 3
which,
o'clock.
Which
Yep.
is my farmers markets would start set up at
Oh.
3:15 and then start farmers markets at 4.
So
he
he
was
was able to-
there to help me all the way through. So I wasn't doing it by myself. Mateo definitely was helping me with setup because it's like a full
It's a big
pop-up
setup.
tent.
Yeah.
You have to bring all your clothing, hang everything, make. We had to like build the
Displays
makeshift
and-
janky hanger like things. Yeah, it was so bad. But yeah, 3 months in, and I randomly went into Copper and Clay. It was a store next door to me, and I was talking to her, and she was like, "Oh, your energy is so good. I love your vibe." And I was like, "Thanks," you know. And she was like, "Yeah, I've seen you at farmers markets," and I was like, "Oh yeah, like I am really popping off," you know. Like at that time, I thought I was like, you know, didn't even know that this is where my business could lead at all. And she offered me this spot. I didn't know
Really?
that this was her spot.
Oh wow!
And she was like, "This is 3 months in."
You never know who you're gonna meet.
Yeah. And so she goes, "Well, I'll make you a deal. Like, you'll only have to pay this X amount, and you can just start with half the store, and then we'll use the rest for like an art gallery type thing." And I was like, heck yeah. You know,
Perfect.
even if I just do pop-ups, because I
Right.
knew farmers markets were ending. So yeah, when I first started, I literally had half of the store. Like, it's insane. Right where there's beam is,
Yeah.
I had a giant curtain.
So this was you.
This was it.
Oh
And
wow.
so, and even then, it was not full. It was very. I look back at pictures that I post. I'm like, oh, that's cringy, girl.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's literally what started it. And from there, every single month, even right now, I feel like I continuously am just taking a step every single month and like growing
Good.
little by little by little.
Do you?
So-
You said you said Mateo does vlogging and stuff. Do you follow? Like, do you film stuff and like let people follow the growth?
Yeah, and that's what that's what a lot of my followers and like my customers come from is my Instagram page and my TikTok page, because I do post a lot and
Yeah.
I'm very vulnerable on the internet.
Good. Yeah, that's cool.
And that's what people want. They want
Yeah.
to like be your friend, you know?
Yep.
And when you're buying something from somebody, you want to support that person, you
Yeah.
know? So I try to make connections with every single customer that comes into the store, make them feel special. And then it makes me feel special when they come back in and they're like,
Right.
I came back in for you.
Yeah.
I mean, half the time they're coming in for Augie.
I came in to talk to you. I came
That's
in. I didn't
true.
even want to come in the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, just go get
A
your
girly
shirt.
store, pretty in pink.
And I know that I know money's gonna disappear, and I'm just like, I don't want to go. Just go do it. Don't tell
Listen,
me.
his wife is one of my best customers.
Yeah. So she is a huge free people person.
Yes.
And not for the clothes, obviously the clothes, but the experience.
Yes.
And making, like, she literally had wrote a goodbye letter and gave the lady like a farewell card when she moved away, and they like had a
From
lunch.
Vancouver?
No,
Or where?
from Florida. When
Oh,
she
when
moved
she was
out
living
here.
in Florida.
Yeah, she would go there and like that was like her therapist. She'd just go in there.
Oh,
Try
I literally
clothes
feel
on.
that way because I do hair tinsel in here too.
Yeah.
And that upped my game. But doing a service for somebody,
Yeah.
they fully are like, oh my God, you're my best friend.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
totally
insane.
helps.
The secrets that I have on some people around here, I'm just gonna say. I literally, okay, this,
That's
I don't know why
funny.
this reminded me of it, but one time I was doing a girl's hair in the window, and that's the best lighting. And we're right next to the fire department, the police department. I'm doing her hair, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we're talking. And she goes, is there any way you could, like, move me into the back area, and I was like, oh, like, what's going on? She goes, well, I have a warrant out for my arrest.
Wait, what? You're like
And I was like,
right in the window?
girl, I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you right now. Like, I can't physically pick up this chair that's in the floor. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to do. So, you know, just fun things like that. You meet the greatest
Have
people.
a warrant out
Yeah,
for my
I was
arrest.
like,
Dude, you're
listen, I'll
across
just
the
turn
street.
you this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
the best of
And
Red Bluff.
just like the people, like the fact, the storefront you're talking about, like locking the door and stuff after hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got all
Yeah,
kinds of
oh my
people.
God, the homeless around here is
Mhm.
very, very hard.
They do good though to keep them off the streets in the day.
They
feel like.
try. I've had some pretty bad experiences where I have had to call the cops. Like one time they were shaking my car. I was inside the car.
Wait, what?
Yes, yes.
Straight on
it's
being
the
attacked.
same two guys. They think it's funny. I
Oh,
know that
it's
they
so
think it's funny
fucked
because
up.
I was talking about my friend Riley. She's on Main Street also.
Yeah.
And they do the same stuff to her. The same kind of like only prey on her. They do that only
Wow.
over here to me. So we're two younger, and I think she's a year older. She's 24 and I'm 23. So yes, but one time I pulled up to the store and I saw them literally in my doorway, and I was like, ugh, like.
So
this
you're
could-
not in. You're like, I have to
Yeah.
go buy that. I have to do this thing.
And so I'm just like on my phone, like I'm calling Mateo, like, okay, I don't want to like walk out right now by myself. Because one of them is very aggressive, and my father-in-law is the fire chief over here.
Okay.
And so like I know the homeless men by their names.
Really?
And I know how their personalities are and stuff
So
like
you
that.
actually can. You're like,
Yeah.
I know this guy.
Yeah, and I was like, I do not feel safe doing this. So I was sitting in my car. They both came up and started shaking my car, and they just are like thinking it's the funniest thing ever. So I call the cops, and I'm like, hey, can you guys come out and do something? Like, I'm right across the street. And they were like, well, we would, but we don't have enough people today. So unless they physically have harmed you, we can't do much.
That's
so then I was
terrible.
like, crap, what do I do? So I literally just skirted out of there. Almost hit one of the guys because
So you didn't even get out.
I didn't even get
No.
out. I was
Smart-
too
smart
sketched out.
play.
So I went and they were like yelling pretty vulgar things at me and stuff. So I went
Really?
over
So
to the
they're
fire
already
department.
harassing
Yeah.
you.
So I went to the fire department to go
shit.
get my father-in-law, and I walk in there and they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm looking for Matt, and they're like, oh, he's not here. And I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, well, what's going on? So I told them, I get a gang of probably 7 firefighters that walk over here and shoo these guys out. And this was probably like 5 months ago. Not
Oh,
have
this
had a
is really
problem.
recent.
Yeah, and I have not had a problem since those 7 firefighters came over and had a little talking to with the boys.
Okay.
So that was really cool.
So do that immediately.
Yes, yes. Literally, just go get a firefighter. But yeah, we do have a lot of homeless people over here. Pretty often, like every single day. There's somebody,
Wow.
and especially because I have a trash can right outside of my building. They're always digging through that.
Oh, I didn't even put that together.
That's literally their main spot. It's crazy though.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have so many. I lived in Portland and
Oh, I
I've
can't
worked
even
there
imagine
for a while. And I got one story. There's this guy. So I'm an iron worker. I don't know if she told you that.
Yeah.
But, so we're downtown building a high rise, and we're on the street, and we got the street blocked off. I'm unloading this truck, and so I'm watching my spotter ahead. I have giant pieces of steel on the forks in traffic. And so I'm like extremely intently focused on him and his hand signals. And you don't do anything like, as an operator, you don't have a brain. That's how we say it. Like, you don't have a brain. This is your brain.
You
And if
have your
do-
job. You are doing the job.
You do what the
Everything outside of
spotter-
that.
Yeah, the spotter tells you what to do. If you do something he does not say, now it's your fault. So if you hurt somebody, break, damage things, whatever goes wrong, as long as you listen to him,
Yeah.
it is not your fault. So that's the concept. It's like, don't think you're going to take initiative.
Yeah.
Your job is, if he doesn't give you a signal, you don't fucking move.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching him, and all of a sudden, there's several cop cars roll up, block the actual intersection, come at me, guns drawn. And I've had a couple interactions with the law before, so I was like,
Yeah.
I fucking froze.
What are you doing?
And I'm like, ah! So they go right past us.
Oh my god.
And then I look behind me, and the other intersection's blocked off, like three cop cars on each side. Foot patrol, bicycle
my
patrol,
gosh.
motorcycle patrol, probably 15, 20 cops to get this
This
guy.
is in Portland?
Yeah, they arrest this guy, bend him over.
And everyone's watching.
My steel truck.
On your truck?
Yeah, the one I just unloaded.
Was he like trying to get up on there?
Oh, so they chased him down 6 city blocks.
Oh my god.
This guy must have been just cracked out of his mind, superhuman speed.
He's like, I will get away.
6 city blocks.
Was he on foot?
Yeah.
He was running?
Yeah.
Wasn't even on like a little bicycle?
Nope. Then that was wild.
That's crazy.
Guns out. I mean, a lot of cops. And then another guy shows up to our job, and he's yelling at us. We're like probably 15 feet, 20 feet in the air in a man basket. And he's like yelling at my one of my guys, and he's like, "You stole my backpack!" And this guy's like such a hard ass. He's like, they're getting this yelling match, 20 feet in vertical.
And this guy down here literally is probably cracked out on drugs. Does not care.
Dude, we don't have a fucking backpack. We don't have any backpack.
But he has no cares. He just wants that backpack.
Yeah. And then somehow they get all the way to the top. This is a 28-story building.
He got to the top.
Not this guy.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
They tagged the penthouse.
Oh
Elevator
my
shaft. Yeah, I'm like,
gosh.
so they had to climb the actual tower crane at one point. So they could
Wow.
probably have jumped the fence, gone up to like the 20th floor, and then they would have to get outside the building. And we have chain link around that, like the access, so no one can access the tower crane on the floors.
Yeah.
So they had to like get around that, climb the lattice, and then get
Wow.
inside of it and get in the ladder.
That's
and then all the way just
so
to graffiti the
crazy.
tower. Yeah.
That's
If
insane.
they could take that level of initiative
to do something
dude,
else.
they got it. They're so smart.
God.
Some of them,
Yeah, it's true.
it's like
It's so true. Especially, there are some of the homeless people around here that when I see them when they're not on drugs, because they can't afford drugs all the time.
right.
When I see them around here, I'll
It's
be
funny.
like, dude, you're a regular human.
Yeah.
You know, like, you have feelings. Like, you're not normal, but, like, you're not as weird as I portrayed you to be, you know?
Or as you portrayed you to be
Uh-huh.
during your little episode.
Yeah,
of being
I had
fucked
one
up.
guy who has literally bugged me and harassed me the whole time I've been here. Around Christmas time, he came in and was like, "Hey, Bailey." I was like, "Sir, you know my name?" Like, okay.
That's crazy.
And I
That
was
would
like,
catch me off
"Hey,
guard.
what's up?" You know, and he's like just talking to me. He's like, "Oh, did you lose one?"
I got him.
He was like, "Oh, well, I just came in here to buy something for my girlfriend." And I was like, okay. You know, this
That's
guy
crazy.
bugs me all the time. Like, can I have
Yeah.
some money? You know, can you have coffee? He always asks for pancakes. He always wants pancakes. I'm like, sir, do I look like I have pancakes on me? Like,
I own a clothing
if I
store.
had pancakes, I would be eating them. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to say.
That's funny.
But yeah,
you have a
he
pancake. Pancakes? That's what
he
they're
wants
thinking about.
pancakes every single time. But yeah, he came in here. I'm being nice because like
Yeah.
I love people. I'm a people person. But I'm like being aware, like, okay, I'm just gonna make sure he's not grabbing things, you know, not touching things. But he came in here on a mission. He was like, I want this necklace that was in the window. I love that
So
jacket.
he's asking you for money every other day. Today he's
and
like,
so
I'm
he's
buying.
over here like buying all this stuff, and
He
I'm
really
like,
he was really.
so I was like, I don't know. The whole time I was like, okay, you know, like grabbing it all. And I'm like, oh my God, you're such a good boyfriend. She's going to love this. And then I ring him up and I'm like, okay, here it goes, you know? And I'm like, okay,
Right.
your total is 127. Like it was a lot of money. And he just goes, okay, pulls out a fat wad of hundreds and just like puts it on the counter. And I'm like, sick. Okay. And so I'm like doing my thing, give him back his change. And he's like, okay, bye, Bailey. Have a great day. Leaves like we're
Whoa.
besties.
What
And then comes
a
back
weird
in
experience.
same day and goes, oh, I also wanted this. Buys another thing and then leaves.
What a weird experience.
And I see him now all the
And was he like not fucked up? He's
yeah, he was
acting
he was
normal?
just acting normal. He was being so polite, like saying
How many
thank
of these
you.
guys really
yeah.
do? Maybe they're.
Yeah, it was
How
was
do you
crazy.
get there? You know what I mean?
I've heard some different stories about this one guy, and it's like really sad. But then at the same time, he's like, you want to be like, oh, well, he's like human, you know? But like
Right.
at the same time, he does crazy, fucked up shit.
You still have to be accountable for actions.
I'm just like,
or at least
like you want to feel bad
if you
for him, but he put himself in that spot.
Yeah.
But I don't know the real stories, so I just hear everybody talks around here. Red Bluff is a very tiny town.
It's a good thing to.
Spreads
that
like
was
fire.
like one of the best things of getting away.
Yes.
Now, honestly, like I know it's so reclusive, but I didn't really tell a lot of people I got back in town, and then I go to the stores and shit, because you know how it is.
Yeah,
like,
for
what's
sure.
he doing here? Oh, it's like I don't want to explain.
And then
everything
you feel like
to
you have to
everybody.
have this cool, amazing life story of where you've been and what you've been doing.
Yeah, I don't
and
have
then,
time for that.
Yeah, you're
I'm
just
trying
like,
to buy some groceries.
Yeah, let me grab my stuff and go.
I had developed like this social anxiety that I never had before of like not wanting to go to the grocery store.
It's because everybody knows everybody. One person sees you, then they go, "Oh, did you know Dylan's back in town?
So
Oh,
like
did you know
my
Dylan's back
first
in town?"
2 weeks, I ran into 4 people at Walmart. I was
That's
like, motherfucker, dude.
And that's on like a slow day.
Yeah, and that's at Walmart. And I'm like,
usually it's like 7 or 8.
One time I went to the weed store and I saw 2 people I just didn't want to talk to. It's not that I didn't want them seeing me there, and I just didn't want to be like, let's spend 30 minutes just talking. I have shit to do. Got a kid. So I managed this little room, like you said, half of your shop. Really, the storefront's really small there.
Yeah.
They didn't see me. I know.
You're just like moving your hands around the whole time.
One
Oh,
was
what's over here?
One was, looking at the product.
That is
like,
so funny.
Head down glance. Yeah.
I
Maybe
totally
they were
know
doing the same thing. I don't know.
I totally know what you're talking about, though. But I felt like when I moved away, when I moved to Kansas, I loved being somewhere else, because when I did come home, all of like seeing my friends and family again, it felt like it was so much more real, and the connection was so much more, because you just want to be around them all this time, you know. And now that I'm living back home, I barely see my family, and like on special occasions or like stuff like that, but we don't like hang out.
And it kept me out of the the drama. Like, I didn't want to be involved in all the drama of like everyone. Yeah, and like you said, you get a lot. Like you're like their second therapist. That retail therapy's real.
It's real.
But personal family. I was like, so when I would see them, it's valuable time. So you don't have to get absorbed in that.
I know.
Yeah, it's like a courtesy of like, well, I just want to know about what.
Tell me all the good in life.
Yeah, what they've been doing, and so it's kind of that is true. Yeah,
I tell Mateo a lot. I was like, I like miss having that feeling of when you come back home from not seeing somebody for so long, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I missed you. And then you just like want to spend every second with that person, you know?
Yeah.
But it's now we're home. We're just like, okay, I'll see you next Christmas. It's not a big deal.
Then you get involved, you get so wrapped up in the daily, right?
Yeah, because it's just life.
You got a lot going on. You got to deal with inventory. Yep. Work doesn't stop when the sign goes up.
My Instagram posts are constantly like, what am I going to post next?
Yeah. I mean, and it's all consuming, really.
Oh, it is.
And
it's
people
so
are
consuming.
like, oh, they made all this money. I'm like,
no.
I know what it takes to do this. Like I was telling you earlier, 15-second reel or TikTok or short, whatever.
It's so
I could spend 2 hours putting in, and then you got to get it right.
And then by the time you're done, you've watched it so many times, you're like, I fucking hate this.
Yes.
I don't want to put
you're
this.
Like,
is
anybody gonna like this? Like, what am I doing?
Oh my gosh.
And especially with my type of content, my wife's like,
that's like Mateo with me. I mean, he's like into bodybuilding and stuff, and I'm like, so do you like this dress?
You're not getting any affirmation, like reassurance. You're like, if
he's
you think it's
like,
good, it's.
He's always like, oh wow, no idea.
Yeah. I'm like,
he tries.
I don't know why I asked. That's why I'm like, thanks for looking.
That's him with his like workout stuff. He's like, oh yeah, and I'm like, and so yeah.
And so you grew up with a lot of siblings. What was that like?
I
have 3. I only was raised with 1.
Oh.
Yeah. So what's that like?
I have 8 brothers and 1 sister. So I always say I have 2 moms and 2 dads. Yeah. So I got my step parents, and then I have like my real parents. And my real parents got divorced when I was really little. So my mom had a baby when she was younger, before she even met my dad. So I had a sister right off the back. So my brother Darren's my only biological, full-blooded brother. Like Lena's my biological sister.
So
we're not
halves.
me and Lena are half, and then me and Darren are full.
That's cool. I don't have any fulls.
Really?
all
At
halves.
all?
Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah,
Darren.
yeah.
And I swear, he just wants to be literally me.
That's
He
kinda
better be
cool.
watching this and agree to this. No, he's older than me, so everybody's always like, oh, I can totally tell you guys are siblings by your mannerisms. I'm like, oh, he learned it from me.
Yeah, that
But-
was me first.
Yeah, I know. But my dad got married pretty quickly after my mom and him split up. And
And so, how old were you?
I
Or
was
this
two.
two.
I was
So-
2 when they split up, and I love my stepmom to death. She's amazing. She's always been like another mom.
So
you
that
know?
was shortly after you said.
Yeah.
So you're still really little.
Yeah, I was 2 years old, so she's been in my life like my whole life. But
My
they
dad was
started
a-
having kids pretty quickly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My dad. I call my stepdad my dad, but he's same.
Yeah.
Same, since I was a year old.
I call
so-
her my I made up my own word for her. She's my smom or my smama. So I just add a little s
Yeah.
for the step. But yeah,
There you go.
she's been in my life my whole entire life. And then they had my 3 little brothers, and then my dad had this.
That's so many kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't even, it gets crazier. So then my dad had this son. Well, he's not his son. My dad like adopted him kind of when I was little. He was like a teenager at that time, but I grew up like knowing that he was my brother, you know,
Uh-huh.
like that's your brother. So I include him in my 8 brothers. But
That's so many brothers.
yeah. And
All
then
brothers.
at 4 years old, my mom got married to my stepdad,
Uh-huh.
Freddie, and he had 3 boys, and that was Aaron, Cody, and Sean. So that added to the brothers, and then I already had Darren. So altogether, I have 8 brothers now, and 1 single sister.
Wow.
Yeah.
1 sister,
And
8 brothers.
And Lena's 9 years older than me, my sister.
Oh.
So
That's a big one.
yeah, it was a big difference. But now that we're adults, we're besties.
There's even. Oh, okay.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
comes and stays. She lives
Especially growing up, there's cultural differences. Like you're in
Yeah.
different eras of
Oh,
culture.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
She definitely hated me when I was little. I remember her being like, of course she's like 18, and I'm like, oh my gosh, just little tiny little baby, and trying to
Not
like, go
even
in
a
her
teenager
room.
yet.
Yeah, like trying to go in her dark purple room, and she'd just be like, get out,
Purple
you know.
room?
Oh,
That's
it was
cool.
dark purple. Like my mom really let us express ourselves.
That's cool.
What any color we wanted.
I had a lime green trim boards.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I had a lime green curtains, and Cody would call it my Easter egg room because I had lime green curtains
cool.
and then a purple, pink, blue, and it was crazy. It was a lot.
Purple, pink, and blue
Yeah, it
with
was a
lime
lot.
green.
Uh-huh.
You
My
really
mama
guys
said,
really
"Here you
expressed
go,
yourself.
express yourself." But
Wow.
yeah. So I have 8 brothers and 1 sister, which honestly I love so much. I could not imagine being an only child. And you grew up like pretty much an only child.
Well, I had my sister. We're a year and a half apart, so.
Oh, okay, that's
I had
not
my
bad.
sister the whole. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
that's like
and-
Darren. I think he's 19 months older than me, something like that.
Yeah, it's about like that. Like right now, year apart,
Yeah.
and then my birthday's in February. Same day, actually. Different fathers.
Same day.
Same day, not the month. Same day.
Okay.
So
okay.
the 27th is both of our birthdays.
That's
Just
so
one is
crazy.
December, and I'm in February.
February.
And then my mom and stepdad are both the 15th.
Oh
How
wow.
fucking weird is that?
That's so
And then it's like
crazy.
a coincidence, but then you have children, and you guys create a
Uh-huh.
second child with new blood on the same
That's
date.
so crazy.
What are the odds? You got
That's very
31 of
crazy.
them, and you picked
They were
the
really
same.
counting down. Said, 9 months from now.
Yeah, I almost had shared a birthday with my great grandma by 2 hours.
Oh,
I missed
that's
it.
so
2 hours.
crazy.
2 hours.
Was she alive when you were born?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that would have been so
Yeah.
special.
Mhm. Yeah, she was cool. She died when I was like probably a teenager. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Did
maybe
you do you
12 or
have
so.
like grandparents? Like
Oh, so we have a lot.
Really?
I have personally. My daughter has an incredible amount, like
Yeah.
over 10. She still has her
Wow.
great.
Uh-huh.
She has a great. She has 3 greats actually. 2 grandpas. No, so yeah, great. So 4th. Yeah, so she has 2 grandpas and a grandma, and the grandma's 103 on the 31st or on the 1st.
What?
Yeah.
What is she eating a day?
I know.
Excuse me?
She looks like she's
Ugh.
80. Like
She's
she
been
looks
using
great.
that moisturizer.
Oh, those she's Sicilian, right from
Wow.
Sicily. Like
That
she,
is
her
so
name's in the
crazy.
book. on
What is
Ellis
her name?
Island. I don't know. I don't know.
You can't remember.
I've never met her.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
She lives in the middle of Nebraska, and
Oh,
it's
ain't nobody going to Nebraska.
Nah. We're gonna go up to Minnesota and visit, and then just drive down. It's
Yeah.
so expensive because no one goes.
Yeah,
So
is
they're
that
like,
is she on your side of the family then, or
no,
Alexa's?
Alexa's.
Alexa's
yeah.
side.
So all of my family's here.
Okay.
Oh, obviously my biological dad. That's a lie. Half my family's in Florida.
Half your
my
family's in
family's
Florida,
here.
yeah.
But and then my dad was born in the Bahamas, so I have a whole nother sect of family in the Bahamas, and they're like they were pirates. They went to war with
my
Queen
gosh,
Elizabeth.
that's
Like they
so
got her
crazy.
to concede and sign away like the island to
That
them.
is so
Yeah,
crazy.
colonial shit.
That's so great. Me and Mateo have recently been like, because I saw that pirates are coming back. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a thing.
Mhm.
And like people don't think about it. I mean, it's not what you're thinking of, like swords and stuff.
No,
But we were
there's
recently
real
talking about like
pirates with
pirates.
machine guns
Yeah,
and shit,
I know.
rocket launchers.
And then last night we were like, let's watch some Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
And we put on Scooby Doo and it was a pirates one. And I was like, why are pirates in my life right now? Like I'm consistently thinking about pirates. What's going
Manifesting
on?
pirates.
I know. I'm gonna turn into a pirate. That's my next job.
Yeah, that was a wild thing to learn. I just learned that last 10 years. Yeah.
That is so sick.
it
It's
was
so
crazy.
cool to like learn that kind of stuff about your family.
Well, and then like the way it works is like it's still like colonial shit. Like I'm the first blood, so that'll be my part of the island. I'll inherit that,
Wow.
regardless of being a citizen or whatever.
Mhm.
But first blood. So my uncle's, he inherited it,
Uh-huh.
and then it'll go to my dad, and then it'll be mine. And I was like, wait,
Wow.
what? Wait.
So
you
how does
telling
that
me I
work? Do
have,
they just
like,
do you want this or do you not? Like,
Well,
do you
yeah.
like sign your rights away
I'm
if you don't
sure-
live there or something?
No, so you just get it. You just inherit it, sign the deed just like a normal inheritance.
Wow.
And then I have a lot of family out there on different islands. But this one's on Long Island, and it's 90 miles long, 4 miles wide. So on the house, our house, it's
That's
2 stories with a
crazy.
wraparound balcony,
Uh-huh.
and you can see the ocean on both sides.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has
yeah.
your like close family that you are close with been there?
Yeah, so my dad goes.
Because your uncle owns
lot.
it right now?
Yeah, so he doesn't go that often. It's just the way it worked. Like, so that family out there still manages, takes
Mhm.
care of everything. It's just his.
Okay.
So it's not even something that you would ever like sell or anything.
does your
you know what I mean?
uncle not have any kids?
No.
Oh, so that's
he's
what
li-
happens.
He's like a 6-year-old bachelor. Almost.
Wow. So it'll go
yeah.
to your dad, and
Yeah.
then when your dad passes, you're the
It'll go to me,
firstborn
yeah.
because of that. You're the
Yeah.
firstborn, so it'll go to you.
Yep.
And then it'll go
And
to
I have
Felicity.
another. No, I have a brother. So
Oh,
go to my.
so
It's
then
only
it will-
males. It's straight up like.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like colonial shit.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's crazy.
Marry off your daughter type of era. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that part.
Woman
Firstborn
empowerment.
Yeah, firstborn male. Yeah.
Wow. So if you passed away owning
It
it,
would
your
go to my
brother
brother.
would just have it. But if you had a son,
Yeah. Then
would it
would
go
be
to your son
Probably.
instead of your brother?
I don't know. It's interesting. I think it probably would maybe because the only
Because it
reason
would be now
it,
yours,
the
so it
only
would go
reason-
to your offspring.
yeah, so it went to exactly. So it went
if
to
he-
my
if your
uncle
uncle would've
because he was
had-
firstborn.
yeah,
so
and
now
he
if
didn't
he
have
had
kids,
children,
then it would go
it's
to
just
his
getting
firstborn.
to the second because it's just
Mhm.
like straight up like being a king.
Yeah.
Like right, the second born never gets it. That's why they murder the firstborn.
You better be telling Alexa, girl, we
I
gotta
know.
get on it. we
So,
want to keep it in the
she hasn't-
family.
So COVID hit. I had the money to go, and COVID hit. I was like, fuck. And they didn't open up that border for a while. And a couple, like 22, I think, without a
Wow.
vaccine. And so they might still require it. I don't know. But so that's a plan to take them out there. It's been 10 years, 2013.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I guess almost 11 now in
That's
June.
so crazy.
Yeah.
But
I've
you'll
only been once.
eventually inherit that house, the
Yeah.
property,
And
everything.
so I can get my dad's a dual citizen, so I can become a dual
Oh,
citizen. So you
wow.
can't unless you were born there. But if your father or mother, if one of your parents was born there, now you can. So now they're citizens
Oh.
of the Bahamas.
So
now
your dad
you can.
was born there, so
Yeah.
then you can get it would be dual citizenship.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I can also spend get the lawyer, do the thing, couple thousand.
And then
become
is
a
that
citizen.
something you renew consistently to like stay a citizen?
No. No. Once you got, it's like getting a social. You got
Yeah.
it. You have to
That's
renew your
so
passport.
Crazy.
But then you do that during hurricane. It's fucked up. But during hurricane season, if there's a lot of turmoil and destruction, it really it's still a province of America.
Yeah.
So it's like Puerto Rico. It's not America, but it's a province.
But
Yeah. And so they have their own currency, but it's straight across, and you'll get a huge subsidy from America on lumber and material. So that's when you go build a new house and stuff. Yeah. And then when Irma hit, I was in Florida for that. That was wild. It took my bedroom out that I was staying in when I went there. Not my bedroom, but the room I was in.
Yeah.
When I stayed there, there was just a hole in the.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And they were in the house, downstairs under the stairwell, hiding. I'm like, fuck.
Was it like a bunker type thing?
No, just second story stair, just under the stairs to the second floor.
Crazy.
I know. And
was your room second story?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is on the top in the corner, and because they're on a little like hill, and it's only 4 miles wide.
Yeah.
That was like a beacon, like
and
having
that was
a
at
lighthouse.
your dad's house?
Yeah. And I'm not sure. Like I said, that's it's ours by blood and right, but we have family that live there.
Okay.
So that's not the island. It's like if you're from Red Bluff, you move to Redding for work. You know what I mean? So they all moved to the Big Island essentially. Nassau is the Big Island, the resorts and commercial island. But our family's from this little island.
Little tiny baby one.
Yeah. And so it's so small. They're like, my sister asked for a chicken sandwich. Like, we don't get chicken till Wednesday. It'll be on the boat. I was like, whoa.
That is so
Where are
funny.
we? But we had the NBA Finals.
Oh my God.
I know. So we're on the middle. I got lost in the Bahamas. Okay, so I've never traveled internationally. Just out of high school.
It was your first time?
Yeah, right out of high school. Just graduated like 2 weeks before.
But in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, I'm hot shit. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And so, and you can drink at 18. And,
really?
Yeah.
You really thought you were hot shit.
Yeah. And I was, so it's a week out of high school, and I go down there, and they're like so on a different time. Like, time doesn't exist in the islands.
That's
and
crazy.
So I get down there to Nassau, and I got to connect to this other one on a little grasshopper plane, just a little quad, like this tiny little 4-seater. And I think it held 20 people, maybe 30.
That was the same thing with Kansas.
Really?
To get to where we lived,
Actual.
It was a tiny little plane.
Or
and
like
you're
an
just like,
8-hour
oh my
drive.
God, we're going to die.
Yeah, so I tried to sleep. So I was like, I'm just going to.
Yeah, you try as it's like shaking
So
and rumbling.
They're like, hey, instead of a 2-hour layover, we have this plane leaving. Do you want to hop on it? It's going to the same place. I was like, yeah, okay.
Of course.
So they print me out a new ticket. Security, what security?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like
what
going
security?
back to the 90s,
Oh my God, yeah.
pre-9/11, and which I don't know what that was like. I was 5 years old.
Just a baby.
Yeah, but I've heard it was nice. You
Yeah,
had freedom. So you get down there, and they put me on a plane, and it'll tell you, like, it just said Nassau to Long Island. Well, there was a connecting flight, and the time was the same. So it was 1 hour and a half Nassau, Long Island, and then the new one was hour and a half Nassau to Long Island, just a different time.
Okay.
I was like, okay, just
Perfect.
switch. And they didn't
Yeah.
say, oh, it connects. And so
Stay on the plane.
we end up, they didn't say that. And then when I got there, so I wake up, I'm like, okay. And they didn't say, like, those continuing on, please stay.
Because it's such a tiny plane. They're like, these
and
people
they're
should know where
Bahamian,
they're
so,
going.
Yeah, they think everyone's probably an islander. And
That's so
I'm like, what? So I get off, and my bags never come. And I thought San Salvador was just the name of the airport. Right? I'm like, oh, that must be the airport name.
No.
So I'm like, oh, can you call the other airport?
Yeah.
They're
Are
like,
they there?
They don't have a line that goes outside the fucking island.
Oh.
I'm like, wait.
My God.
You guys are all airlines, and you can't talk
Connect
to the other
ones that I just
island?
came from?
Nope. They can't. So I had to use roaming hours and shit.
Oh
I mean,
my
like,
God. Were you
my
able to get
dad-
on a flight that night?
no. So
Oh,
they're like, we don't have
no.
another plane coming for 3 days.
3 days? And because technically it was your bad, they
Yeah.
probably didn't have to pay for your hotel, right?
Well, luckily, we have people in high power.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
We are founding members of these islands.
That's so
my dad
crazy.
makes a couple calls, gets a hold of people in D.C., and next thing you know, they got me all figured out, and I got a plane coming in 3 days to get me there. So my
3
bags show up.
days?
My bag. Yeah. So I'm like,
What do I do for 3 days?
the phone. Now I knew we were going like backwards.
Yeah.
And I was like, but they can't call the airport.
Yeah.
They are the airport, and they
Yeah.
can't call the airport that
airport.
connected from their airport.
Or-
their flight connects from San Salvador to Long Island, and they can't tell them like, "Hey, the
can't,
plane's
yeah.
on its way." What?
That's so
and
crazy.
so I get there. I stay at this place called Club Med, and it's like a resort. It's like they're around the world. I had no
Okay.
idea. I'm not an adult. I don't know what they
you're
are.
just like, okay.
But it would be like a timeshare type deal
Okay.
in Mexico or whatever.
Okay.
And so I get there, it's 80 a night. I'm like, that ain't shit. And it's
Yeah.
direct currency, right?
Uh-huh.
There's no exchange. It's just the same
That's
value.
Awesome.
So I'm like, oh, what am I getting for 80 a night? Like,
Yeah.
I at least hope they have a fucking TV. Or
Yeah.
something. And I was really just praying for air conditioner.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I got there as a full all-inclusive resort, snorkeling, all included. I got the, and then
you
they felt
lived
bad.
your best life
Yeah,
for 3 days.
It was the best mistake I ever made in my
Oh,
life. Then
I hope I make that mistake
they
one
all
day.
felt bad for me, and it was French week, and so
What is French Week?
they have weeks. So they have people that are a lot of Canadians work there, bilingual, and so
Oh.
they have French week. They'll bring in people. They'll make sure that all their staff speaks French, and then so I can't talk to anybody.
Wow.
Right? I
That's
can only
so
talk to the people that work
crazy.
there
Yeah.
because they all speak French.
That
and
is so crazy.
Yeah, that was cool. And they switched weeks. So then they have like America and Britain, and they'd switch.
Probably when you're
to
booking,
these-
they're like, make sure you book on this
yeah,
time
well,
if you
they'd
speak
only-
this language.
They'd
type
only
thing.
have, you'd probably have to select your language, and it'd give you select
The
dates.
dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was wild. And then the airport in Nassau, speaking of pirates,
Uh-huh.
they leave the lights off. So unless they have a plane coming in, they shut all the runway lights off.
So
And then
it's a
as they're
super
coming
tiny
down-
airport, so they don't have consistent planes
It's not-
coming in.
Yeah, like I said,
Okay.
the next one
Yeah.
was 3 days.
Yeah.
And so, and it's not a tourist island; it's a local
Yeah.
island. And I had an aunt and uncle that were 95 that lived there the whole
Oh my
life
gosh.
on that island.
That
And
is so crazy.
so I get there, and I'm like, that's weird. Pirates will come in planes, and if the lights are on, they can find the runway.
Oh my
and so they shut them off as soon as the
gosh.
plane lands. Shut them off.
There's
And
air
then-
pirates.
So they're
Oh my
calling.
God.
They're like, all right, we're about to land, and they'll turn the runway on, and then they shut it off.
Then you're like, oh no, I was wrong.
And then we get ready to leave, and I got to catch my flight. My dad's like, oh, we got to get there like 3.5 hours early. I'm like,
For
dude,
this
they shut
tiny
the
little
runway off.
airport.
they're like, they might just leave. They did. We left an hour and a half early. They're like,
Nobody was there.
I think we got enough people. They just took
Oh
off.
my
They're like,
gosh.
the plane looks full enough. And we just left an hour and a half early.
What?
Yeah.
So you guys were stuck there again?
No. This went smooth, but I was just amazed. That's why we got there so early. I was just like,
Just in
I didn't
case.
believe him.
Oh
I was
no,
like,
who would?
leaves early.
Yeah,
What
okay.
plane has ever left early?
Uh-huh.
Always late.
Late,
No one's
yeah.
leaving or right on time. Like, you don't
Mhm,
leave
yeah.
early. Or if you do, it's 10 minutes. You don't check in early.
Especially
And I
for a
was like,
tiny airport that you don't
wow.
have security to go through.
Yeah, it's like
all
going to
of that
Red
stuff.
Bluff.
Yeah.
It's like going to Red Bluff. I'm like, why would you show up early?
No.
You're just gonna walk
There's no
in,
reason
get
for
your
that.
yeah. They didn't even have security at that
Yeah.
airport. So yeah, I learned a lot.
Wow, that is
That was very
so
crazy.
crazy.
Experience.
My only experience of like, I recently went to Cancun
Mhm.
this last July.
That's
Mateo's
cool.
parents surprised us and took us on a family vacation,
Wow.
which is so crazy. His mom was like, either you can have Christmas presents for the next 5 years, or we can take you on a family vacation to Cancun.
That's a good deal.
And I was like, take me to Cancun. And guess what? She still got me a Christmas present.
Aw, that's awesome.
His little brothers
That's
was like,
cool.
we thought they weren't getting gifts. And I was like, shh, don't bring it
He's
up.
like, I didn't get any gifts.
Yeah, I'm like, no. But yeah, we went to Cancun. It was amazing. But like you said, when we got there, it's so humid. And we
yeah.
were in a resort. After the first day, sorry.
It's all good.
The floor is
all
disgusting
good.
also. But the first day we were there, perfect. Everything went super smooth. Second day, we went during like tsunami season?
Hurricane.
Hurricane. Yeah.
Well, Mexico,
I think
probably
it's
tsunamis.
I don't know which one, but
Yeah.
I
don't know.
it
Either way, they're
shut
not
off
good.
all of their power, all of their AC. So we were there for
So you were without.
and we were there for I think 10 days.
Dude, being in the
And we
rooms.
didn't have AC at all. And their
The whole
pools,
trip?
the whole trip. It was so disgusting. I made Mateo sleep in a separate bed than me. 'Cause he was too disgusting.
And you're not sleeping with any
No.
sheets or no.
Nothing. You're just dying, just drenched in sweat. And
How do you? Did you even sleep?
oh my god, no! At one point, we just went outside and slept and tried to sleep in the chairs,
Catch a
along
breeze,
the pool.
hopefully.
Yeah, because it was
Yeah.
just so hot. And they were like shutting down their pools at like 8 o'clock at night. Like, oh,
Well,
no
and
one's
then-
allowed to be out because they don't have lifeguards. And I'm like, no, we have no AC. I'm
Let
getting
me
in
sign
this
a
pool.
I'll sign a
Yeah.
liability waiver, dude. Like,
Seriously.
I'm here on a resort. I want to go swimming at midnight. Like,
And it was so hot. Like, oh my gosh. But we did so many cool, amazing things like while we were there. And that was my first time like ever using a passport or anything
Yeah.
like that. And so it was just so amazing to me. But we also, while we were there, his mom got this great idea to take us swimming with sharks.
whoa.
And not in like a cage.
Right.
It's like
Really?
you get
In the
on
water.
this tiny boat. You go for like an hour and a half into the ocean, and they're like, "Oh, I see all these other boats, so
We'll go
there
there.
must be sharks." And then they're like, "Okay, throw you in." And then you're just like, "Where's the shark?" And they dunk your head under.
So you're not
consistently.
allowed to get in a pool after 8,
Yeah.
but we're gonna
But
feed
we'll
you
just
to the
feed
sharks.
you to the sharks. It's fine.
And hold you down.
But the whole time we were there, like on the boat, it was this tiny little boat. It started, the weather was changing, and they
when
were like,
was this? What month?
this was July.
Oh, dude.
So they were like speaking over the radio. You can't understand anything they're saying, you know? And I'm just like, oh. And Mateo's mom gets so sick. She's like puking her guts out. Then his from seasickness.
Oh,
Then,
on the water.
Yeah, because we're in this tiny little boat. And we're with this other family. The whole other family starts puking, all of them. And then
It's really that. So the water's
it was
chopped.
so choppy, and the it looked like clouds were coming in. The water was getting more choppy and stuff. So by the time we got
So you're
to
like,
the
are we
sharks,
supposed to be
I
out
know,
here?
right? And so by the time we get to the spot where we're supposed to jump in with the sharks,
Mm-hmm.
Mateo and his little brother Ryan were the only ones who had not puked their guts out the whole way. I was so sick. Mateo's
Strong
mom
stomach.
was sick. Like everybody was just so sick, and we even had these little patches you put on like your ear, like behind your ear. That's supposed to make
help?
you. Yeah, it's supposed to like you're not supposed to get nauseous or something.
Wow.
Did not work. So in the end, I think Mateo ended up swimming with the sharks. His little brother Ryan, and then even though his dad was throwing up and his other little brother, they still jumped in because like, when other chance are you gonna
Well,
get?
you might feel better in the water.
Honestly, yeah, because
Yeah.
I was fine up until we stopped moving.
Oh, and then,
It was just so bad. And that's when I started. And I was like, I cannot. I'm literally
I
dying.
think I'm kind of. I think I'm probably immune to that. From
Really?
I've never been out to deep sea like that. We did something like that in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Actually, with sharks.
Uh-huh.
But I'll tell you about that. But I grew up on a houseboat.
Oh.
So, and we had a little one.
Yeah, and see,
so
I've
it caught
never
a lot of
really been
waves.
on a boat
Yeah,
before.
and then you're sleeping in the boat. will
Yeah.
rock, you know.
Well, after we got, they ended up leaving early because half of us couldn't even swim because we were puking so much. So we were
they
supposed
just got
to,
their money,
uh-huh.
dude. They're like,
But then they're supposed to take you to this like exclusive island, like a little farther out.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to have this nice lunch and like enjoy yourself on the beach for like a
Mm-hmm.
couple hours. Then you get back on the boat and go. But everyone is just like puking their guts out. And so they were like, we're just going to take you guys back. The guy, like the fisherman.
they should have been like, this is not the sea, but they need that
Yeah,
money.
they-
You get that
The
check.
fisherman has this like sandwich and he's like, does anybody want to split this sandwich with me? Mateo does. He goes, I'll
He's
take
like,
it.
yeah, I got a stomach.
Mateo's over there eating this man's lunch. But as we're going back, it starts pouring rain and everything, and we finally get
So
back.
you're getting rain.
Yeah, and we finally get back. And
did it feel good though, because the humidity?
Oh yeah, and it
brings the temp down.
Yeah,
and-
I'm pretty sure I got sun poisoning from this trip. I still have scars all over my leg. It's insane. Like
blister.
It didn't blister. It turned into like bruises. And it looks like I have bruises all over my leg, but it's from I've had it since July.
Wow.
Don't worry, my in-laws are like
That's normal.
nurses and EMT, so I should be fine. They looked at it, but so yeah, we get in the car and our tour guide is on the phone. He's like, "Oh no," and stuff, and we're like, "What happened?" And he's like, "Good thing we didn't go to that island because all those other boats that were out there went to the island and they're stuck out there, and we don't know for how long because the storm that just came in." And we were like, "No," and that's the storm that took out our AC for the whole week.
Yeah, good thing you
Oh
weren't
my
out there.
gosh. So yeah, he's like, "You guys, I don't know where you would have stayed." Like, yeah, so that was crazy.
If it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah, so it's good.
Holy
We were all
shit.
just like puking our guts out. It was fun.
Good thing you puked. I
Yeah.
mean, I never wished for sickness,
Yeah,
but
but it hit us
Wow.
good.
we did nurse sharks. Very slow.
Yeah, I
Very-
think these, I can't even remember what
They'll,
kind of sharks.
they'll still get you, but they're very docile.
They'll just like a little nibble. Just a little
And
nibble, not the full arm.
So you know what they say, right? Like sharks have to keep moving.
Oh, yes.
So these sharks sleep.
Oh.
So I was always told
they
sharks
float?
don't sleep. They catch on low tide. They catch the reef. So on low tide, they sit right in the
Oh,
tide, and the water
that's
moves for them, so they don't have to move.
That
And
would
so
be me as a shark.
there
The
was,
most
like-
lazy shark.
There's
That would
like
be me.
10 sharks, and they're black, real black, and there's some were big. So we wrestled one up to the like
Wow.
they're sleeping. So we went. He was like, "No, do it." I made my little sister do it 1st.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was like,
You go do it. You
he
do
did
it
it with
first.
her, and he did it with her, and then I was like, okay. And
I can
they're
do it if
slimy,
you can
so
do
they
it.
just pulled him up. We didn't like beach them. We just
Yeah.
pulled them up and then let them back.
Uh-huh.
And they're slimy and like.
That's so crazy.
And then there was and it was not like an hour, but we had to leave right now, right? Like right now.
Oh, literally, it's a time.
Otherwise, the tide, you'll fucking.
Oh my
you'll
God,
run
that's
aground.
so
You'll run aground because of the tide. So you have to hit these canals that are in the ocean.
This is in the Bahamas?
Yeah, hit these canals
Wow.
because the water's not deep.
Yeah.
It's all Caribbean. It's the
That's
right.
insane.
So you have to hit these canals, and only he knows because
Uh-huh.
he's the guide. He's the fisherman
He
of that
knows.
island. So he's
like
like,
the back of his hand.
yeah, he could write a map. No,
Yeah.
he could really write a map. And so we're out there, and he takes us out there. So he prepared this bowl of like vegetables and just like a salad mix
Uh-huh.
with nothing in it, just that. And I was like, conch, the shell that you hear, the
Uh-huh.
pink one that can hear the ocean,
Yeah.
right? That's what you eat in the Bahamas. And so it's maybe it's not very deep, and 8 feet at the most. So you can see it.
Oh,
And so we go out conch fishing, and he brought the salad. So I went and got my own conch. He had
Raw?
a hammer. Yeah, in the salad. So he had a hammer, and he
That's so
cracked the
crazy.
spiral tip. You crack that, you pull them out,
Wow.
and chopped it up, diced it,
That
put it
is
in the salad,
insane.
and we ate what we caught right
What's
there.
up with our fishermen giving us weird
I
crap
know.
on the freaking boat?
I thought it was
Go
yeah.
catch your fish.
It was good, but yeah, it was weird. And then at the bar, I told you where we would watch.
Uh-huh.
It's literally a bar with a little pier out in the water, and
And this
he
is
had-
on the island that
yeah,
your family
yeah,
is like from.
the actual
Okay.
yeah Long Island, the
Okay.
one where we're from, and he has a little rock reef where the conch come in, can't get out, and it's like
Oh,
they come in at the tide,
wow.
and so it kind of catches them for.
That is so
Yeah.
sick.
And then we at my aunt and uncle's house, they had a low tide card table in the water, cemented into the ocean.
No.
Yeah, with an umbrella.
Wow.
yeah. Just a folding, like not folding, like the
Ugh.
white
I just want to
chair,
live that life.
the white chair card table. Yeah, yeah.
Just
I
in the
know.
ocean. Like, it's fine. It's concreted in. And I'll see you
I was
tomorrow.
like, that's so smart. So you just sitting out there drinking beer, smoking cigars in the water
That's
on a,
so crazy.
and the table's dry.
And is it like always hot? Like when I was in Cancun, the water was always warm.
yeah.
It's
Yep.
like always warm.
Yeah. As soon as you said pool, I was like, that didn't help.
Nope.
Yeah.
But
That's
literally,
like
I just wanted to be wet.
Getting
at any
into
time.
it's like right after you turn the hot tub off. It's
Yes,
just so fucking
yes,
hot.
It's so hot.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that was the coolest trip I've been on.
That's cool. That
and
is
it was
cool.
like recent, so
It's very fresh.
Yeah, and then we went to like cenotes,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like underground rivers and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like cave diving, but like not extreme cave diving.
Okay.
You know, like you had to wear like hard hats, and like you had
Spelunking.
yeah,
Whoa.
and like you had
That's kind of hardcore.
the caves are like pitch black, and you have little flashlights on, and then
Not hardcore cave diving.
I mean, I'm not like deep diving. I mean, there was some stuff you like
If
had
you
to
need,
climb
like,
up, and then you had to
yeah.
like jump off this cliff, and hopefully it wasn't like a cliff, but it was like for me
And
it
a
was a cliff.
ledge.
I'm like 4'10", okay? It was a cliff,
Yeah.
and so you're just like, oh, I hope like there's no like giant sharks in here, you know?
Really?
But there's
Yeah.
like, of course, it's all fresh water. It's not
Yeah.
like actual sharks, but like it's so deep. It's hundreds and hundreds of feet below you, and you're like shining this flashlight,
Wow.
and it's crystal clear. You know, and it's just beautiful. But everything around you
It's-
is pitch black
and-
except for this.
Was this on the east side? Cancun's on the east, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
On the
Honestly,
Gulf.
I'm really bad. So
I think it's towards the
yes,
Gulf.
yes, it is.
It's so funny you're saying this. Like, there's a lot of very similar things with the Bahamas. Like, they have a place called. Well, actually, my family owns one of the caves.
Excuse
it's
me,
on
why are we not
private-
there right now? Why are we
It's
not in
on-
a cave right now doing this?
It's like the largest cave out there, and it's on
What?
private. It's either they
How
either own
crazy.
it or one of
Some
their
kind
friends
of-
own it.
Yeah.
Like, there's how many
Ugh.
people there, but
Honestly,
it's on
that was the
private
coolest
land.
thing ever was the cave diving and like the doing the cenotes and like what they were meant for was back in the day the Mayans
Mhm.
when you like they wanted to kill you off they would just throw you into a cenote
Whoa.
and so there's like bones and stuff in there and
Creepy.
from thousands of years ago
Creepy.
and there's like Mayan temples still around over there.
That's so
and
fucking cool.
Yeah, so they would just throw their people in there and they would either drown or starve to death and die. You know,
Right.
so eventually they died. But you're just like in this water, just like people have died in here.
So I was.
Yeah.
They had this thing. It's called a blue hole, and it's an underwater cave.
That's so sick.
They never found the bottom. They have a measured depth. Like if you Google it, it'll have a bottom.
It's
But,
called the Blue Pole.
Dean's Blue Hole.
Oh, Blue Hole.
Yeah, so there is a recorded depth, but it's
Okay.
not accurate.
They haven't even
That's where
reached
you
it.
die.
Oh my god.
That's where people die. That's how far they got without dying.
They're like, it's fine.
yeah, so there's
Just, like,
people,
don't go beyond
and they
this
don't
pass.
recover the bodies. So there's people
Oh my
that
god.
they know it's deeper. You just,
They just can't.
it's like 500 feet from where they're like.
Ugh.
That's the measure. It's like almost 600, I think.
Well, in one of them, I was dumb and I was like, I love capturing every single moment of my life, and I'm like this girl that has like barely left Red Bluff and has only been to certain places. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna vlog everything on my phone. So I put it in this little pouch, and I'm like swimming with this pouch, and my phone falls. And luckily, I was able to get my phone and
You
everything.
found it?
Yes, we did
Oh.
find it. But my phone was wrecked, and we were there for 10 days, so I didn't have a phone for like half the trip. So like that kind of sucked. I came home and we took it into Verizon. They're like, "Oh, what'd you do to it?" And I was like, "Just spilled some water on it. We didn't drop it into a cenote, an underground cave."
yeah, and then had to go spelunk for
yeah,
it.
definitely didn't do that.
So I guess they have found it. So I
Oh,
guess
wow.
probably with sonar or whatever, there. So 665 feet. What is that in the
Jeez.
middle?
I know, that's what I'm like. That doesn't.
That looks like a gas
man-made.
port to the like a
Like,
volcanic.
Somebody like opened up a
Well,
whole
so
nother
this is what it
portal.
looks like.
That's literally it's
Yeah,
so
so that's why-
blue.
So there's these rocks. So
Ugh.
you jump off that, and
Yeah.
it's anywhere from 15 to 50 feet.
Oh,
And
I
it's
would throw
and
up, pass
it's
out.
it's called a K. A K is something surrounded by three sides.
okay.
And so this blue hole, you're looking at these fucking building-sized boulders, and it's so clear you think you're gonna
Oh.
land on them. So I had to do the little one first. I didn't trust
yeah.
the water.
Oh no.
I was like, that thing looks like it's right there.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't.
It's because it's so
It
clear.
was
you just look
100
through-
plus feet. It was so fucking
That's
far.
So crazy.
It was
But
so
when
far.
you jump from that high up, doesn't it feel like your body's going hundreds of feet down?
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you're just like, I just gotta get back to the top. Just gotta get back to the
But
top.
the thing is, it feels that way. But when I think about it right now, like my ears never get pressurized.
Yeah.
Like we're not that.
Yeah.
But it does. Like
We'll
panic
float
sets
right
in
back
as
up.
soon as
Uh-huh. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
especially with those rocks. I was so
Oh
freaked
my
out.
god. My whole thing
Yeah.
was like, I've never even seen Meg. the
So
movie.
you went down that hole.
Yeah, we went fully into the
Wow.
cavern.
We
I
just
don't
swam
know.
in it. We didn't dive.
Yeah, we did all of this,
That's
and
cool.
the whole time I was just like, Meg's gonna come out and eat me, like this giant shark that no one even knows about. They're
Yeah.
gonna be blind, and they
Yeah.
just like somehow survived in
Jason
this really
Stamos
deep.
is coming in.
And I was just like, oh my god, the whole time.
Yeah.
But those were like the best part of the whole trip,
Man,
100%.
You're
And
making me want to do
we
some
did
diving.
like over like 10 of them, like
Wow.
so many different
So
ones.
that kind of became the thing.
Yeah.
That you were like, we're doing this.
Me and Mateo were just obsessed with it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was super sick. So
That's awesome.
yeah, Cancun was fun. His family's going to Italy now, so in June, and I'm like, don't you guys love me? You
Yeah,
want
yeah,
me to
you're
go?
like, yeah, for the next 10 years,
maybe.
you don't need to get
Yeah,
me.
that's literally. I was like, I have birthdays.
5 more years?
I don't need birthday presents.
Yeah.
Like, take me to Italy.
Oh, I think there was a show where you sold years of your life for like well-being.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh,
So you'd have
that's
to
so
serve.
crazy.
You'd have to give them 20 years of like running on a treadmill.
Oh,
or,
I saw
yeah,
that.
I don't know what it was called,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's funny.
That is
That's
so crazy.
giving your life for some rewards.
Listen, Italy's worth it.
Oh yeah, I want to travel. I wanted to backpack across Europe, and then I
Oh,
got
that
into
would be
motorcycles
so
as I
cool.
got older. And 19, I got my first one, and then I was like, dude, I want to go ride a motorcycle across Europe.
Yeah.
That'd be way cooler in the countryside and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. So one day, maybe.
Probably when you
Yeah,
retire, because
like,
now
yeah.
you're married and you have a kid.
Kids, dude.
Yeah, kids change
Yep.
up your life. Mateo and
Mhm.
I have been married
How long?
5 years.
Wow.
I got married in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So me and Mateo
What
have
was that like as
that
far
was
as like
crazy.
the
Like I look
family and the way
back-
people
Yeah,
like,
my little
the
brother
approval or
Wade is 19, but when he was 18 and a senior, like I
Mhm.
view him as like a baby. I'm like, oh, my
Right.
little boy, you know? And I'm like, I was
like, "Stop talking to me
and I'm
like
like,
that."
I was married at your age. Like what?
That's wild.
Yeah, so me and Mateo met when I was
That's so cool.
super little. We went to church together.
Okay.
And we grew up together. He was my brother's best friend. Like it was like literally a little rom-com. But yeah, at 14, I was like, oh, this kid's kind of cute, you know, like he was getting more mature. And he's 16, you know, at that
Uh-huh.
time. So I'm like, an older
Good,
man.
good space.
yeah. So yeah, somehow he liked me, a little 14-year-old. And my mom was very against it. She was like,
Really?
you don't need no boys.
Someone approved it though.
My dad thought my mom had approved it. They're
Oh,
divorced.
You're sneaky.
So then my dad.
Oh, so you don't have to like they're not in the same house. You can
No.
really pull this shit.
But I didn't even have to. My dad literally, Mateo, because him and Darren are friends.
Okay.
Mateo would go over to my dad's house and spend the night. Mateo would go to my mom's house and spend the night. You know, like everybody's house. He was spending the night out with Darren. And my dad had found out Mateo had asked me to be his Valentine. Like not dating. It was just very like cutesy. Like, will you be my Valentine? You know?
Mhm.
And my dad heard that, and so he's like, "Oh, they're dating." And so my dad sits us down. Well, first he made before I showed
So this
up.
is like the first sit down talk.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
I'm like 14 years old, scared shitless because my father's like, "You've been dating this boy behind my back," and I'm like, "I didn't date anybody.
I
I just went."
remember being that
Oh my
boy,
gosh.
that kid.
Yeah.
And I've sat down. I think I sat down
And
with
your heart's
two.
just like,
oh my
You're
god.
like, I'm gonna pass
He's like,
out.
what are your
No.
intentions?
Yes.
And a 16-year-old boy has one
They're
intention:
like, nothing you need
like,
to know about.
kiss
and we're
and
like,
play with tits.
literally,
and,
and then my family is so religious.
You're like, I just want to
so
love her
reli-
forever.
I just want to hold
and
her hand and watch her grow into the woman she's gonna
yeah,
be.
yeah. You're like,
Straight up.
I can see a future.
Yes, yes.
I don't even
And
know
so-
what I want to do
and
with
I'm
my
like
life.
14. I've never even had a boyfriend before. I'm just like, what the heck is going on right now? And I didn't tell my dad about Mateo. Darren freaking opened his loose
Oh,
lips.
fucking
Yeah.
brothers.
Freaking brothers, yeah. So before I even showed up, my dad had made Mateo wash his car and mow the
No
lawn.
way.
Yeah, and Mateo was supposed to be over at his house, like hanging out, playing games with Darren on the Xbox, but nay, didn't
Working.
happen. He was a working man.
That's a good test, though.
Yeah.
I have a daughter. I need to remember these
yeah,
things.
Yeah, it really
Put him
scarred
to work,
him, so.
see if he'll do it.
Yeah.
Free labor? Okay.
Literally. So my dad, I show up and he's like, yeah, so you have my blessing. He's a good kid and all this stuff. And this whole time I'm just like, what? Like, we're not even together. So before we
No.
leave, I remember Mateo going.
So you weren't even like, at the point
yeah,
where
I
you're like,
didn't
this
know
is
what
my
was.
boyfriend?
Yeah, we literally had gone on one date that included my mother and my stepdad. Yeah. So
Those dates.
Yeah,
You're like, you're too young to be alone
yeah, exactly.
with a boy.
And so as we're walking out, he goes, "So does this mean I can call you my girlfriend?" Never actually
So
asked
your
me
dad
out.
made you guys
Made us date. And my dad
Wow,
still to
that's
this
crazy.
day thinks that we were dating this whole time.
Oh,
And I was like,
that's
"No,
so
Dad,
wild.
like you literally
You just initiated a relationship.
And then I went home and I told my mom, "Yeah, me and Mateo are dating now. Dad said it was okay." My mom's like, "What?"
Not only did he say it was okay, he pretty much arranged
Yeah,
it.
so we're getting married now.
So at what age did you get married?
Yeah, so then Mateo left when I was 16 to join the military because he's 2 years older than me. So he graduated.
Was that something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I knew
Is
he
it
was going to go into the military.
Is it, I guess, not hereditary, but is it in the
Yeah,
family?
it was in his family. Yeah. And he went in doing the same thing. His dad was a tanker, so Mateo was
Oh.
like, "I want to be a tanker."
Cool.
And so yeah,
That's
Mateo
cool.
went in, and I honestly
Did
I
his
feel
4
like
years or
yeah, he did 4 years.
just single
And
enlistment?
he wanted to do more, but when he was in, he actually ended up getting pretty sick on a rotation in Germany, and he was in the hospital for like 3 months
Whoa.
in Germany. So when he came back, he just like his health wasn't the same, and it was just like even his sergeants could see that like he went from this top-notch soldier to like
I've had
it
that.
was
I've
just
had that
really-
experience in my trade and had to like
oh, it
quit jobs
sucks,
and be
yeah.
like,
And-
don't call, like, because we're dispatched through the
Yeah.
hall to get unemployment. You have to put your name on the list, and
It's like a
if
whole
you're not
process.
searching for work, but the hall takes care of your
Yeah.
people. So they're like, as long as you're on the list, we're never gonna deny your unemployment. We're like,
Yeah.
he's turned down work. So you just tell him like, don't call me for
Yeah.
I'll call you when I'm ready.
I'll let you know
And
when
I
I
take,
want to
like,
be back.
I got COVID, and then it wasn't I got over it in a
Pretty
week,
quick.
5 days.
Yeah,
But then some things like over the last
just happened.
yeah, there was like some over the next 6 months, just some weird getting lightheaded on the steel, like in the
Oh,
air. And
That's so sketchy.
I was like, oh, I don't know what the fuck's going
That's
on.
so sketchy.
And then I think I stressed myself into having back problems.
Oh no!
Yeah, I
It's
learned that's
totally a
possible.
psychological
You
problem.
can anxiety yourself into
Yes. Oh my god, anxiety is so
pain
real.
and then once so I had to take this like 6 months off and just try and figure that out.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
And like just it was the same. It was not me. They came up and was like, essentially like laying me off. But they were
Yeah.
like, I think you need to
this
go
would
get
be in
some.
your best interest.
You're not healthy. I was having to
Yes.
miss work for
Ugh.
appointments and stuff,
That's
and just like,
so
man,
sucks.
I got like had to sit down, like get real
Yeah.
lightheaded and be like, I can't even work for 30
Ugh,
minutes.
That's crazy.
It became a liability.
Yeah,
So
at that
yeah.
point.
Mhm.
Mateo's was
That's really-
more so
yeah.
the aftermath because he got I think it was like it was a German hospital, and first off,
You think
the
of Germans, you think
military,
they're probably pretty.
they were in like a very rural
Oh.
area, and the military didn't even let me know Mateo was in the hospital. And at this
Wait,
point,
what?
we were married. Okay, so let me go back.
Okay.
I got engaged at 17. Mateo came home, surprised me, did a whole engagement. It was like,
He's
oh my
in the military
gosh.
already.
Yeah,
Straight
he's already
outta
in the
high school.
military, and he's like 19 at that point. I'm 17, and then I plan a wedding in 6 months, and I turn 18 right before. So
So
then
you didn't
I'm-
need the approval or anything.
Yeah. So
oh,
then,
wow.
which my mom, she
They would have. It sounds
yeah,
like,
it
but
was
it's
everybody
just, yeah.
loves Mateo. So, and we grew up together, so it wasn't
Yeah.
like some random kid.
Well, when you start your story off, I got married in high school. You're like, interesting.
Yeah, I know, but it's true. I was
Yeah.
literally we got
You're
married
engaged, yeah.
over we got married over Christmas break, Holiday
Wow.
Classic.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was on dance team. I did Holiday Classic, and then went and like picked up Mateo from the airport.
I used to do all
and
the mixing for
Yes,
the
I
dance
love
team.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Dance team was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It was.
did
It was
Holiday
fun.
Classic, my regular like high school experience.
Mhm.
Picked up Mateo from the airport. 2 days later, we're on Christmas break. I get married. I go to
Wow.
Kansas for 2 weeks. He ships out for a year, and
Oh,
goes
whoa.
to Germany and Poland. And I'm finishing out my senior year of
What
high
was
school.
that like?
Oh,
Being
dude,
married
it was
with the we've
crazy.
done distance. It's different with a kid.
For sure.
I could do it more. I've done it several times with Alexa
Yeah.
and other women, and it's like manageable. It's
Yeah.
different when you're married, but man, when I, had the
tell-
kids. So what was that like? A
I
whole year.
tell a
I've
lot
never
of
been
people
away.
where I feel like
And you're not a plane ride away. Like,
yeah,
you're a
no,
continent.
I literally cannot go see him.
No.
Like, he's on a base
Yeah.
and doing like trainings and
Yeah.
like patrolling
And
Poland.
not a lot of time to talk.
Yeah, no, and
No.
when you get there, you have to buy a whole new phone and a whole new
Oh,
service plan, and
right,
half the
different
time
phone
it doesn't
number,
work.
area codes.
Yeah, and half the time it doesn't even work.
'cause where
So
they're at
it
and
was
stuff.
super normal for me to like not hear from him for like a week at a time, you know?
Oh,
And
what's
it would
that
be like,
feel like?
oh, it was so honestly, it was like so depressing because you think of like, oh, you get married, it's the happiest time of your
Yeah.
life.
And you're still
And-
like young, naive.
Yeah, and I'm literally in high school.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I remember showing up at dance team practices and Miss Schultz being like what's wrong?
Schultz,
and I just be like,
Schultz. I remember Schultz.
and I'd be like crying, and she'd be like, it's okay, like it's gonna get better. Like I was such a child, honestly. But yeah, I do tell my friends like that are in relationships now, like I think that the distance made us so much stronger.
Yeah,
honestly.
it does.
We
It
had
does.
less things to fight about.
Yeah.
We
And you're
missed each
allowed to
other.
like you have this like different respect for your time
Exactly.
and also a respect for your space.
Exactly.
You learn to love your space. Like
Mhm.
I'm like I actually need time away from
Yeah.
you. Like just give me a couple like right now we're both at home. I had a surgery a month ago
Oh,
on my shoulder.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
You
that.
want to know? Yeah.
I
I have
wouldn't know.
incredible recovery.
That's awesome.
But so I'm down for a while, and that's kind of with picking everything up, and I'm gonna take the whole year off, and so I'm down, and we're home a lot, and it's like
Yep.
okay, and I realize like so she's going to work every few days or here and there, and then gets to go to the gym, but I can't work out yet,
Yeah.
so I'm not at the gym. I don't
You're just
get
at
those
home.
2-3 hours.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wake up to you, you leave,
It's a constant.
baby, dog, and
It's
now
just-
puppy.
Yeah.
And then
the
you
same
come
routine
home
every single day.
and it's like you baby dog, you baby dog. It's like I don't have a me time. And yeah, so I was like, because there's
Where
a
do I
time
get
where
that?
she wanted to go to bed together, and I was like, I need to stay up
Yeah.
because I need this 3 hours of
Mateo
myself.
does that to me
Yeah.
all the time. And I honestly, for the longest time, I still sometimes, if I'm like really like, oh, why don't you want to go to bed with me? You know, I still get my feelings hurt. But that's so true. There are where you just kind of need your space, where
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, this is what I need. And for us, I feel like it was a big thing where it totally made us stronger because when he came home, I literally was like counting down the days to see him, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like the most
I had a countdown on my
amazing-
phone.
Yeah.
I actually they have countdown apps.
That's literally
Yeah.
what I used to. It was like a little picture of us.
Yes,
like,
yes, yeah.
the countdown. But yeah, it was really hard. Probably the hardest thing I've like
You
gone
definitely
through
question too
with that.
your future and
Yeah,
you're like, man.
and I'm like, okay, I'm married, but like I'm not married because he's not here, and I'm
Right.
still living
It
at
feels-
home, and I'm
and
still
that
in high
really
school.
feels single.
Yeah,
like
and
you're not communicating every day.
Exactly.
Like-
and so like the whole thing when he went into the hospital, I didn't even know because it's very normal for us to not text each other every day because
Right.
he could have been out in the field and
Right.
he didn't have service.
It's
or
crazy
something.
that they wouldn't notify you that your
Yes.
husband is like
How I found out
injured.
was one of his buddies had messaged me on Instagram that was in Germany with him on this rotation, and he's like, hey, just a heads up, like Mateo's in the hospital, I'm here with him, he's been here for like 3-4 days, he says he loves you, and when he can, he'll message you. And I'm like, what? You know? So I'm like freshly 18. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to get a hold of like somebody, like there's like these military wife groups that you get put
Yeah.
in when
Uh-huh.
your husbands leave. So I got put in this group of like these middle-aged
Oh,
women.
so they actually like have a net. They have
Yeah.
a support system.
And so I messaged this
So
group.
you're clearly
and
the youngest.
Yeah, and I'm like, what do I do? My husband's in the hospital. No one's notified me. And one lady's like, that's illegal, you know?
It
And
is, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
okay,
So they're
okay.
like calling around trying to figure out who Mateo's higher up is.
the
And
fuck?
I'm like, I've only heard, I don't know. I'm so fresh to this. I'm a brand new military wife, you know? And so Mateo finally calls me like the next day and he's like, yeah, I think I'm dying. And I was like, what? And
you get like malaria or
yeah,
something? What the-
he just was like, I've never felt pain like this in my life before. Like,
pain,
and
not
he
just
has,
sick pain.
yeah, and he has, he like FaceTimes me and he has IVs in his neck on
What?
both sides and his arms,
Whoa.
like every single spot. And they did like like a fluid test on his back. Like they had to get spinal fluid.
yeah.
And so, He was
That's
like,
serious.
he goes, these big 2 German guys came in and held me down, and they don't speak English.
I heard it hurts.
They
too.
don't speak English at all, so I had no idea
Whoa.
what was going on. And he's sharing a room.
They didn't get like translators for the military. Didn't bring a guy in.
So, and this whole time, I still haven't heard from any of his higher ups. And Mateo's like in and out because he's on hard drugs because he's in so much pain.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get a hold of him. So I went online, or I went onto a Snapchat and located the nearest hospital where his Snapchat location was. I sound like a crazy person, but my husband I thought was
your
dying.
husband, yeah.
So yeah, and then I call that hospital. They don't speak any English. So then I hang up. I learn German.
Enough German
to say like military, like soldier, army,
name.
like Mateo's name, and like I need to speak to him type thing.
Wow.
I eventually get through.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, all because his freaking military wouldn't talk to me.
20 years ago, we'd have had to get an encyclopedia.
Yeah,
and
I'd be like, how do I
English German dictionary. You'd have to go buy it at a
crazy.
store.
Yeah, but I got to Mateo's
That's
room.
awesome.
Got to Mateo's room. He had consistently like his friends there with him. So eventually his friends were just kind of like texting me back and forth, communicating. Finally, one of his higher ups still haven't reached out. Finally, one of the higher ups messaged me a very vague thing saying like the next shipment of soldiers they're going to bring back to the States, Mateo will go back with them. And
so
then
they only notified you when he was
once he was going to be like
off of
coming
the
home.
tour.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And so saying that he would be coming home early because of like a health reason.
So they still
and
didn't tell
still weren't really like talking to me much. Mateo's still in the hospital at this point.
Yeah.
So
They're
like,
not like,
we
hey,
don't know
he's
when
been in the
he's
hospital
coming.
for 10 days.
Yeah, and also I'm living in California. I just graduated high school, and I'm supposed to, when he comes home, I'm supposed to already be in Kansas with an apartment set up and everything. So they're not giving me a day of when they're sending him home. They're just like, the next shipment, he'll go with them. So my sister was dating.
And you're 18.
Yeah, I'm 18 years old, just freaking out. My sister was dating a first sergeant.
That's very strong.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's hard.
Don't worry, I was lots of tears. It was very stressful.
That's
but my sister was
incredible.
dating a first sergeant, and so I called him and I was like, James, this is what's going on. Like, is this normal? And he's like, what the fuck? And he goes, give me his unit, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I should. Like, this might get Mateo in trouble.
Right,
you know?
You're like, wait, hang on. Where's this going?
Yeah. So I'm like,
this was me venting and trying to get an answer. And
so James figured it out that an hour later, I had his sergeant on the phone talking to me. And
quick.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. This is so like unacceptable of how this is being handled, blah, 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 blah,
What do they do to rectify it? Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
And so they still are like, we can't give you an exact date. We don't know. But like, we'll let you know when he's shipping out.
Oh, so you get a flight. You get a 8-hour warning.
Yeah. And I'm driving with my mom to Kansas with all of my shit, Mateo's shit.
Did you call or do anything to try and like get a place in advance, or are you just showing up and house hunting?
I had already had an apartment lined up for when Mateo was coming back.
And so you kind of had an idea.
I had an idea, but they called me.
But you probably had it like scheduled
for a certain time. Yeah. So they call me and they're like, he's shipping out in 2 hours. He will be there at this date. Blah,
You're
blah,
still
blah.
on the road.
And I'm in Red Bluff. They haven't even notified me. So I'm in Red Bluff, just like living my life.
2
Like,
hours.
I'm on summer vacation,
You had 2 hours.
So I was like, oh my God. So,
That's that's actually a 29-hour trip.
yeah.
I did that recently.
Mateo was like, it was the worst thing in my life.
So he got there before you.
No, okay.
You managed.
Just you wait. So then I pack up my life, and one night, my brother Cody, it was the sweetest thing ever. He like comes up to me and he's like, "I'm gonna miss you so much," and hands me like $100 for cash, and because like for gas and stuff. And he's just like, "I know you weren't expecting to just like up and leave, So me and my mom get in the car. We drive all the way to Kansas. I talk to my apartments, and they're like, "Yeah, you can just." Like, we'll figure it out. We'll put you in a different apartment that's available.
Are these military apartments?
No. Mateo didn't want to live on base.
Right.
So I'm talking to civilians.
So this is,
But I'm telling them my sob story.
Then.
They're really working with me. Right. So we get there, and we have an apartment. We drove a little Nissan car there and filled it with as much as we possibly could with me and Mateo's stuff.
Yep.
We have no furniture, nothing. I get there. Mateo calls me. oh yeah, I'm not coming home for another 2 weeks.
Whoa, what? He's getting on the plane.
Flight.
Oh
They
my
changed
god.
his flight.
So, hey, I'm about to board.
Yeah, and
no,
now,
I'm not.
just kidding, they didn't have enough room, so now I'm not going to be home for another 2 weeks. So then my mom was stuck in Kansas with me for 2 weeks.
Well, at least you got it furnished.
Yeah, it's true we did. But even my bed, Mateo, our bed
The amount
now,
of
he's always
stress
like,
on
oh.
that drive. The amount of stress.
And he's like calling me, and he's like,
Because he
"Can you-"
would have beat you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
by a day.
he would have been going like straight to another hospital. Like he was still sick.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would have been like meeting him at the hospital.
And they were gonna like put him on a special flight, like with a med.
I don't even know what they were planning. I think they were just talking out their ass, trying to save themselves because of all the crap that went down.
What does he think? What did he think?
He honestly
happened?
doesn't like.
Did he eat something or?
Well, I think
drink some
they
water
said that
or
he ended
something?
up with pancreatitis that leaded to a severe case of like bronchitis. Is that when it's in your lungs, like liquid is in your lungs?
It's either that or pneumonia.
Pneumonia. Maybe it was pneumonia. I think it's
that's
pneumonia.
deadly.
It's pneumonia
Yep.
because it was like really
That's
extreme,
deadly.
and his lungs like to this day are like fucked up.
Really?
So yeah, but
Wow.
that's what
that
they claimed.
sucks.
And then once he got back
Does he
after
get
that 2
disability
weeks,
off of them? Or did he-
Mateo is a very hard-headed man who does not like to take
you
advantage.
served your country.
I know,
It's not
and I've
taking
literally
advantage.
sat him
They
down and like
fucking
talked
don't
to him about
pay
that.
you. Like,
But he just is like, I want to work for my money. I don't want to just be given it.
but you did.
I'm like,
you literally gave your life. You're not
Dylan,
the same
if you want
person.
to sit down and talk to him about this,
Yeah, I'll put
please
him on
do.
I give him a headset and say, let's, yeah.
Dude, he would have some crazy
Yeah,
stories
it'd be
for
cool.
you. That
It'd
would
be
be
cool.
so sick. He has
Yeah.
so many cool stories from the military. His friends were such doofuses.
There's a movie called Lawless. Have you ever seen it?
I don't think so.
This guy got shot like 10 times.
Oh my
He
God.
got his throat slit ear to ear.
From being in the military?
No. Just like a moonshiner, wild, kind of in the
Wow.
Kentucky, in the
Is this
maybe
a
in
true
the
story?
Appalachian. Yeah,
Oh, crap.
he died of pneumonia, going to take a piss by his frozen
Stop
pond.
it.
Got out, and that's what killed him.
Ugh,
Yeah.
after all of that.
All these wars and literally bullet holes, just slit
That is
throats,
so
and this is
crazy.
back in moonshine in the prohibition. So you're not getting the
That
medical
is
care
so
we have
insane.
now.
No.
You know, you're getting stitched up with
That is so crazy.
alcohol on the wound. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
and that'll be good.
Yeah, here's some pain meds.
If I need to, I'll just cut it off later.
Yeah, take a swig. I'm about to cut you up. I'm like, fuck. And then pneumonia. Yeah, got him.
Get some
It'll
every
get the strongest
time.
man, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, that was my getting married in high school story up
Wow.
until. But yeah, we just had our 5-year anniversary in December.
Congrats.
Thank
So what
you.
day?
The 22nd.
Oh, wow. That's 27th.
What? That's so
on my sister's birthday. I know. But I'll never forget.
That's true. Oh, I text Mateo all
It
the
just
time.
happened because it was shotgun too.
Uh-huh.
And the timing and then some flight things because of winter.
Yeah.
Bad idea, right?
Did you guys get married in Florida?
No, we got married right here in
Here in town?
Kimball Square or at the clock tower.
Oh,
Yeah. But
That's
even
so
that was supposed to
sweet.
be somewhere else, and then because she got a flight delay, so
Uh-huh.
then it got pushed back a day,
Ugh.
and then there's like she didn't want an
There's always
anniversary on her
something.
parents' anniversary, and then my dad, and it was like
Okay, fine. It
I
can
was
be
like,
my
so
sister's
whose
birthday.
day are we gonna steal? Oh, let's steal the one she was born on, not this day of an anniversary, which is just a made up.
Oh my
You know, it's like
gosh.
that's a legal day, and this is a birthday. So okay, whatever you want.
Okay.
You're the wife.
Yep.
You do.
Oh, it's always us. It's always our picking for
Yeah.
sure. Well, Mateo, in my head, I had this whole thing where I was like, I'm gonna have an October wedding in the fall. Like we had
Yeah.
a full wedding. It wasn't
Oh,
like
okay.
I
Because you had time to plan.
yeah,
You had 6 months.
Yeah,
That's
and then
still really
I was
short.
a waitress and a hostess over at Green Barn, and I was
Okay,
saving
yeah.
all my tips. And
That's a good place.
I paid for pretty much the whole wedding.
Wow.
Yeah, with all of that, and the wedding was absolutely beautiful. And where was I going with this? I can't
I don't know.
remember.
Doesn't
but
matter.
yeah, yeah, the shotgun wedding. We thought we were gonna have to just go to the courthouse and
Right,
do it.
yeah.
But I was like, I know I'm only gonna get married once. Like it has to be a good wedding.
Oh God! Don't
But-
tell that to Alexa. I told her. I said, "Look, we'll go renew our vows in
That's
the
what
Bahamas."
I was gonna say.
I said,
Just
"We
renew
got an
your
island in the
vows.
Bahamas."
Oh
We'll
my
go down
gosh, and
there."
Alexa and a cute little white
Yeah.
tight dress.
I
Oh,
said-
girl.
and then
She look so good.
She did black.
Oh,
did
she
all
did
black.
black?
Yeah.
She
Black
gives off
on
that
black.
vibe.
Yeah,
I could see that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
could see that.
Yep. I wanted to wear purple. I like purple.
That was Mateo when we went to prom. He was the only guy in a white suit.
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed. I was
That's
like,
cool.
you're only wearing this because you're not allowed to wear it during our wedding.
Mm-hmm.
But he got married in his dress blues, which was really
cool.
nice. So.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Marriage.
Well, I think we made it. We made it
Heck
to the
yeah.
finish line. And you know what? For the first time, we didn't finish the set. That's a good sign. And for the first time, I didn't have a guest even touch it. You didn't even touch it once. So you got to hold it.
I was not going to try to mess this up.
Yep.
This is
You got
too
to show it
beautiful.
off. Show it off to yep, she did all this
Listen,
work.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was working with my eyes.
Yeah, we built this platform.
They're performers. They're
Yeah,
dancers.
yeah, look, he slides.
He's gonna like. Oh my gosh, he is
This guy
a dancer.
turns.
Oh, it's a little stage.
I had to build you something.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it represents me because I'm a dancer.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
See,
gosh.
I
Dylan,
stopped
you
right there on
knew.
purpose.
You
Yeah.
knew.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I built this. So hire me.
So many firsts.
much a-
This is a show of many firsts.
Yes.
Yep. First time where I'm in someone else's house
Ah,
or shop.
boutique. We are
First
in
time
the
I'm
boutique.
in a public place. Second
So
time,
fun.
first time
Not
I did all of
finishing.
it myself, and I didn't finish.
Listen, I didn't want to mess it up. I told Mateo I had a lot of anxiety. I've never built
Over the-
Legos.
Yeah, well,
So I
it's
was like, I'm gonna let Dylan do his thing. He can pop off.
yeah, and you did. I was like, I better start building because this is literally.
Do people
called,
usually like grab it and start?
I'll make you guys do a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Listen,
a
just
little
have me
bit
on again
assertive.
because
Yeah.
I have more stories.
sure.
I can talk for days.
You know, that'll be another first. I've never had repeat guests. I
Oh,
would love
listen,
to. Yeah.
Bailey, every Friday.
Yeah. This is great. And for the
Yeah.
first time, like even like I have to respect all my guests. I love all the
We love
stories and I'm
everybody.
fully engaged
Yeah.
every time. But for the first time, I was like, yeah, put
I
that
like
over
this
there.
one.
Yeah, we'll just set that aside.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy. I'm only 23 and I've had all of these crazy
Yeah.
experiences. Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Yeah, I relate to that a lot. I did not the same thing at all, but I
But in a
took the
way,
same path.
Yes.
Did initiate, took initiative, did things that shouldn't have been done at my age. I owned a gym at one point in time.
What?
Yeah,
Dude,
I had
you
like
and Mateo could be
300 clients.
besties.
I had
What the heck?
yeah, and it went from a dying gym of losing people every day, and I turned it around with me and my other
Wow.
business partner. And within 3 months, back to like 300
That is
people.
insane. Where was that at?
A little town called, I can't think, I don't know the name of the actual town, but the town, it was right across, like 2 miles away from a little bitty town with 800 people called Isleton. It's out on the River Delta, the Sacramento River.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so you go through if you take the Sacramento way to get to San Francisco, and then goes through Pittsburgh
Yeah.
and goes down that way through the Delta.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But yeah,
How
and it was the only
crazy.
gym, and so man, and the
Oh,
connection
that's
of like watching people
crazy.
transform, and then
Mhm.
watching their attitudes transform,
Yeah.
being super insecure and depressed,
Yeah.
and then watching them like grow in little incremental changes, and then they're like, oh, it hurts, and the next thing you know, they're like showing up, and then some people would fade, and you had
Yeah.
high hopes for,
Yeah.
and it became a family.
That's how I feel with
I'm
this.
invested
Yeah.
in seeing, and I
And
promised
people want to
you
see
could
you
do this.
grow,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, I love this guy," and
Yeah,
he's like
and
totally been there
Where's
for
Dylan?
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Ugh,
it was
I
really
feel that
cool.
same way with this.
It was really cool, and it was kind of like I was just there. This was his dream. My welding partner
Yeah.
that we traveled together. It was my traveling partner, and it was his dream. So
Aw.
I went to Montana and made crazy money. Come back.
That is
and
so
We
awesome.
bought up this guy's retire. He just happened to retire. Bought up all of his equipment for welding. Started a little
Uh-huh.
in the garage side business.
Yeah.
And then worked at that gym for free and
that's
just started doing it.
literally.
and-
I still don't pay myself to this day.
Yeah.
And I've been in it at 2 years. now.
Good. Yeah, that's
And
cool.
I'm still every single thing I just reinvest back into the
Yeah,
business,
that's
and that's
awesome.
how it is.
Yeah.
Small businesses. If you want to see them grow.
Yep. Man, you're really inspiring me. So this town with Legos, there's nowhere to buy them. Walmart.
Yeah.
You don't want to get Like,
Oh, dude, Legos would be
there's
such a
such
freaking hit.
yeah, and there's weird like Walmart doesn't carry some things, and then
Recently, one of my friends, she's also into Legos. She was talking to my brother-in-law, and Ryan is like 14, and they were like, "Oh, we just really want to get some Lego sets, but like we don't want to go to Walmart. They went all the way to San Francisco.
yeah,
Took a full
that's
trip.
the closest. I think Sacramento might have a Lego
Yeah.
store, or it's I don't even
I
know.
think the Sacramento one closed.
San
I heard.
Francisco then.
Yeah.
And then like there's another store called Bricks and Minifigs.
Uh-huh.
That's like a secondary market
Uh-huh.
of used Lego and stuff. It's kind of like a GameStop for
Yeah.
Lego. As a storefront, they have those same things
Okay.
online, but this is a brick
Where you
and
can
mortar.
actually go
Yeah,
and
brick and mortar
use
storefront.
and play with it,
And
yeah.
to the same grand scale as Lego. Every city has one.
Uh-huh.
And it's like there's a Lego store and there's a Bricks and Minifigs.
Yep.
And if it's not here, it's at this neighboring city.
And dude, imagine if you had your own Lego store.
Yeah. So I have
You
a
would
friend.
meet so many new people
Yeah.
to put on the podcast.
Yeah, and you could do what my dad did, set it up in the store. So I have a friend that did this in that little town called Hermiston,
Oh, really?
where they only had a Walmart.
Uh-huh.
You had to drive
tiny
hours,
baby.
hours and hours. I mean, 3+ hours.
Yeah.
Probably 2 hours to get one, and then to get to a store other than Walmart, like a Target. But the Lego store was in Portland, so you had to go.
Oh.
It was like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And hundreds of miles. So yeah, San Francisco distance.
Yeah,
And
same thing.
so he opened this store. It doesn't make money, but it doesn't cost money.
Yeah.
And his wife is busy
floating
doing
by.
it. And like with me, like my wife loves her job. I don't really need a job. She can afford it, but I want to work and I could do these things that tax write-offs pay for themselves. So
Oh,
that's an income right there.
seriously,
If I
yeah.
can get tax write-off, I just made whatever,
Yeah.
the write-off. So if it can take care of itself, so I might have to reach out to him because this seems like like I said, same population, same size, same need.
Oh, dude, and now I can't even imagine my life without it.
Yeah.
Like there definitely are slow months where I'm like, oh, like I wish I was making more money.
Right.
But I'm not like drowning. You
Yep.
know? And I mean,
And that
slow
even
months
happens
come here and there.
We're both in construction.
Yeah.
So November, December, count on losing money.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
losing it because it's the holidays and you're not working.
Yep.
You're lucky to get
I forgot
40.
Alexa does construction.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
such a badass, dude.
Yeah.
You got a
She
good
really
ass
is.
wife.
Yeah. She's a ride or die for sure.
I've seen some of her like videos and like on Instagram or something, and she'll be like in her vest and her hard hat. And I'm
Yeah,
like, you're
yeah.
so freaking pretty.
I
Like,
know.
how are you doing construction right now?
And it's
She's like,
110 and she's on the asphalt.
yeah, I know.
And I'm like, dude, let's go to Portland. Like, come back to Oregon with me.
Yeah.
And you gotta sit in the rain, but at least you get rain gear.
Yeah.
I don't get to wear rain gear because I'm welding, so I'm just burned.
Oh,
Even if I do,
wow. I
it
didn't
just
think
has
about that.
holes. So the rain gear I do
Doesn't do much.
no, it gives you a little time.
Yeah. So you're not working right now?
No, so what I do, I can't do here. I would have to
That's
go
why you're
to Sacramento
constantly
or San
moving
Francisco.
around.
And I just moved around. So I rodeoed, and we raised bulls.
Oh,
So we
wow.
went to all the rodeos.
We actually
And-
have the biggest rodeo and
Yeah.
like what is that called?
Biggest 3-day rodeo.
Yeah.
PRCA. Yeah.
Literally insane that our little town
I know.
gets all these people for
Yep.
rodeo.
And then the bull and gilding sale.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's coming
It's
up.
my first
It's gonna
time
be
in
good
10 years.
money.
Maybe longer.
You're gonna go?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Heck
I
yeah.
wanted to bring them last year, but it just didn't work out.
I tried to get on the list to sell stuff there. I called way too late. She's like, you need to call in the summertime.
Yeah,
And I
wow.
was like, oh, okay. Can I get it on for rodeo though?
And you might consider, I mean, you have a good network, but my mom knows a lot of people down there because we're in the lifestyle,
Uh-huh.
but they're not cheap.
No.
You could consider splitting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know
that's a good
people that
idea.
do clothes. I actually know people that go to all the rodeos and sell clothes, rodeo
that's
clothes,
awesome.
and stuff like that.
For me, I
and-
want to do my hair tinsel. Like that's
Yeah.
what I think a lot of the girls would like be crazy
Wha-
about.
what?
Hair tinsel. So like Christmas tree tinsel, like
Yeah.
you grab tinsel and you put it on a
Uh-huh.
tree. I am pretty much putting that in your hair with like hair extension.
Wow.
It's like a hair extension, but it's instead of hair, I'm putting tinsel.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
it lasts for like a month.
Really?
But I started doing it last summer.
Okay.
And that was literally what all of my income was coming from last
Wow.
summer. And still to this day, I get like 4 or 5 hair tinsels a week.
Wow.
But if I was at rodeo,
and they
man,
last that long. You're still getting that. So it's not like it's the same
it's new
person every
people.
week.
It's new people. I mean, I have my consistent girls that come in and switch it up. And they're like, okay, I've had it for 2 weeks. Can you take it out and put new color in?
Yeah.
Type thing. But if I was doing hair tinsel at rodeo, I could do like horses hair tinsel.
Yeah. And then barrel racers. And so my sister's the
right?
president of the NSBRA, the regional barrel racing circuit. So yeah, I can help you out and get connected to some people.
You guys heard it here first.
Yeah.
I'll be at Boso and rodeo.
Yeah, we'll work on it. Well, I got
that would be
to
so
those
sick.
type of venues. I could probably help you with some people.
That would be so sick because I have all these. I mean, I grew up in Red Bluff, but I've never lived a lifestyle of being country or like rodeo. Like my parents weren't like that, so I just didn't grow up like that.
Which is good because if you did a store like that, you would not. There's too many.
Yeah,
you got the loft. You got the
yeah. There is too many.
And then if you were to go to a thing like the Bull and Gilding Sale, everybody has one like that, right?
Exactly.
But you're gonna stand out with this.
Different,
and
spice.
even if you were side by side, if you guys were splitting it, this side is gonna draw them in, and then they're gonna walk out with your shit.
Yeah.
Because they're there for this shit. And then they're going to have a wall, right? No wall. And they're just going to be like, oh, what's on this side?
Yep,
and then they'll walk out with this stuff. And so that's a good funnel to get. Because, I mean, obviously, people are going to come. It's a beautiful display. I'm sure everything looks great. And it has everybody has this is style for anybody.
Yeah.
Especially with having extra stuff. But with that particular crowd, that would probably help. Just get people that wouldn't normally go there that walk in like.
And like I'm on Main Street, but technically I'm on Oak Street.
Right.
Like Main Street is here, and I'm still connected, and I'm still like part of all their stuff. But I'm technically like off Main Street.
You have one of the best off street.
I do. I really do.
Antelope. It's Second Main Street,
and
right?
State Theater is right across the street.
So that light is direct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. I get so many people that are like, "Oh, I
just watched like 30 people walk by during this hour and a half."
They do live music over here on Friday nights at Enjoy. So it's always popping over here.
That's cool.
They're probably like, what are they doing?
Right.
In there
Yeah,
with
they
their
do.
little
I saw a lot of
headsets?
people looking. And it's really cool. Yeah. I like this spot. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have to do it again.
I'll be back next month.
Before we cut off, is there anything you want to talk about? Name off your socials, where you're at, where they can find you, your website, anything you want them to know.
Yeah. My main page that I use is going to be my Instagram page, which is going to be prettyandpink_fashion boutique. I post everything on there, my new arrivals, every time I'm doing a sale, like anything. And then from there, I also have an online store that's prettyandpink.pink. So super easy.
Pink. I like that.
Super easy to find. And and then I have a storefront, 338 Oak Street, Red Bluff, California. You guys can come see me anytime, see me in person, which is even more fun. But yeah, those are all my things that you can find me on.
I have to vouch for that. It was fun. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. All right, guys. We'll see you guys hopefully more consistently. Take care. Peace.